I always hoped my father would finally prioritize me until the day came.
He prioritized you and you didn't like it?
Trigger warning, mentions of DV and substances. My father's torch is out. He's been voted off the island because I got better. This is a bit of a long one, as I've known this person my whole life, and I'm 31 now. This is about my father. By the way, this comes from Tats and Cats 25, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And also, folks, this comes directly from our subreddit. And OP says, my father and mother met in their 20s, got married, and had 2 kids. My older brother and me, a daughter in Ontario, Canada. And before I was 1 year old, my father came home one day and asked for a divorce. My brother remembers the troubles they had before this happened. I do not. My father immediately moved in with another lady. Growing up, this other lady became a big part of my life. A second mom, you could say. If I saw my dad, I saw her. She's very family-oriented, so I also got close to her family. Her dad became my papa. Her brothers and sister became my uncles and aunt. Growing up from an infant to a child, I only saw family. Whether or not I understood that they did not share my blood, they were family. My dad was a dad growing up as a child. He was my protector and my role model of what a man should be. He meant everything to me and my brother. When I turned 12, my mom met a man. I mean, she met a few before this one, but none really stuck around. This one, though, stuck. I remember my mom putting us to bed, and he came over for coffee because he knew my mom could not leave the house and was willing to wait until we were in bed. I heard them talking, and as a 12-year-old, I snuck to the top of the stairs to peek down the corner of the landing and made complete eye contact with this strange man. Scruff around his face, just smiling at me. He said, "I think someone's awake," and I giggled. From there on out, my stepdad has always seen me. When I was 15, my dad picked my brother and me up and said, "We're going to see my nan up north for the weekend." We were excited. We had not seen my nan for a while since she lives 5 hours away. As soon as we got in the car and put on our seatbelts, he said, "I have something to tell you guys. Your stepmom and I broke up." He did his best to explain his excuses. My brother and I spent that 5 hours sobbing in the car. He insisted we could still see her, which made us feel a bit better, but we knew everything would change. About 2 months after, we were still adjusting to everything. I still spoke to my stepmom on the phone and saw her a few times, of course, not as much as my dad. He then sat us down and asked us not to see my stepmom anymore. You can't switch it up.
Yeah, how long did he go before he switched up?
Yeah, it was like 2 days. He was like, "That's it. All right, you're done."
I'm sick of it.
At this point, our hearts were broken. He was not asking us to just stop seeing some random girl we had been seeing, but a person who had been in my life for as long as I could remember. Not just her, but my papa, my uncles and aunts, and her whole family. Ooh,
Yikes.
that's hard. My brother and I came back to my mom's that weekend in tears and with such fears. My mom, the angel she is, said you could see them on my time. She saw the pain her children were in by losing this family and made sure that we wouldn't. That's a good mom.
God.
After about 4 months, my dad said he had a girlfriend, younger than him, maybe 10 years or so. We'd go over and they'd smoke hard in the house and drink. I never noticed my dad's drinking until this girlfriend. He'd have one after work with my stepmom, but he drank day and night with this girlfriend. And so did she. My dad ended up canceling on us a lot, saying he was working. So we would go to my stepmom's or stay at my mom's. About a year after they started living together, and without any notice at all, my dad said, "We just got back from Switzerland. We got married."
What?
That's a wild one.
I let him show me pictures and just said, "That's beautiful." But to be so blindsided, not even a thought in my dad's new marriage as a 15-year-old, still a child managing to deal with a family I didn't fully understand. My brother and I pulled away at this point. We did not enjoy going over and breathing in smoke. We did not enjoy just staying in a house because they wanted to drink. And we just did not enjoy our father anymore. My mom supported our wants and never made us go if we did not want to. We explained what made us uncomfortable, and my mom understood. My dad and his wife broke up over many DV calls. My dad went to jail for it, and my uncle, his brother, had to bail him out. I did see him during this period. We would just go out for dinner and a movie. I hope that since he was away from her, he might choose us again. He did for a bit. He told us a lot about his current ex, that she didn't like me and my brother because we're not biologically hers and she wanted her own. Why is he telling you that?
Weird thing
Why is
to
he telling you
talk
that?
about all the time.
That's so messed up. Again, I did not point out that he let her do it to the point he did it himself. I smiled and waved, hoping for a better relationship with him. He got a new girlfriend with a young child, which became his priority. Caring about this kid would make her love him. He was a golden dad again. This is when I realized he's never been a good dad. He's been a fake dad. Through all of this, I still spoke to my stepmom, knowing her since I was 1. She never had kids, and I've always been that to her. She has always made me feel like her daughter. I found out that my dad would ask to cancel when he was with her, but she said, nope, it's your weekend with the kids, and I want to see them. Once I heard that, everything fell into place. She still insists he was a great dad. Maybe he was, I believe, because of her. He wanted to impress her, and him being a good dad was everything to her. My brother and I are still everything to her. That's lovely.
Well, you got 2 moms.
Yeah, like, yes, you have a seemingly bad relationship with your dad, but you got something out of
lovely
it.
relationship with this lady.
On my 16th birthday, he texted me, I'm sorry, baby girl, I forgot. Can I take you out next week? I sucked it up and said yes. Next week came and I got a text. I'm sorry, baby girl, I have to work. Next week, I promise. Next week came around, hey, baby girl, I'm sorry, but I have to work. At this point, I had enough. I was getting a full picture of who my dad was, and I was mad. I texted back, go to heck, and he responded, I'll see you there.
Wow.
Dude, you're the one who's like
Wow.
not showing up for anyone, and that's how you're responding to your daughter? Wild. That was my 16th birthday present from my dad. He continued to ask to go out to dinner or get together. Sometimes I would go, sometimes I would not. I'd see him at family Christmas, and he'd always ask to get together. I'd just smile and wave. When I had my son at 23, I decided to give him a chance again. I kept it only in public places, just going for dinner for an hour or so, then going home. He would choose to spend that time talking about my mom, my stepmom, and my brother, and how they all have faults, but he has none. That dinner made me hate him. He has no faults of his own. He does not see the way he treats people. He told my stepmom he was divorced. Before he was divorced, she did not know, and my mom did not know until they became close friends. He took all my mom's money when he left her, cleared the shared bank account, and she had to declare bankruptcy. He didn't just do it to her, he did it to us, my brother and me, living in the house with my mom. He didn't pay child support. His brother, my uncle, helped with groceries and childcare. Of course, good parents do not tell their children these things. I asked the questions, and my mom was willing to give me the answers. Unlike my dad saying to me, I shouldn't be paying your mom child support. It should go to you. It did go to me. A roof over my head, food in the fridge, clothes on my back, and heat to keep me warm. I had a terrible ex myself. He ended up doing shady things in my name, which got us both arrested. After a long 4 years of fighting, I have a clean record and full custody of our son while he is in and out of jail. Well, I'm glad that you have the clean record.
Thank goodness, yeah.
The day I was offered bail, it was my mom and stepdad standing in the courtroom, willing to put their house up for my bail. As soon as I walked out, I saw them standing there. My stepdad right away held up his fist to his heart as a way to say, stay strong. He knew I would break down seeing them. When the judge granted the bail, they took the handcuffs off me, and I walked right to my stepdad. He hugged me so tight and said, you're safe. I have you. Your stepdad seems great. My bio dad was my protector, but this man really made me feel safe in every way. He really showed me what a real father is. He took me to lawyers and courtrooms, was by me through it all, and let me make the choices I needed to get through such a hard time in my life. My bio dad never reached out. Once. When it came to how I was arrested, I didn't know what anyone was thinking about me. I just cared about the ones that did not question me and trusted who I actually am. I went to my nan's a couple of years later. My dad had a new girlfriend. He was there, but I did not ride with him. I came with his brother. At one point, I was in the fridge at my nan's getting a drink for my son. His girlfriend came up to me and said, "We saw you in the paper. We thought you did it."
What a
Huh?
weird thing to say to someone.
Hey, I know you were like falsely accused of that crime. We thought you did it.
We believe that you actually could be that person. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Why are you telling me this? Why are you even talking?
Why are you even talking to me right now?
That was the only response I got to my whole arrested situation from my dad, his girlfriend, saying they thought I did it. By the way, I think that you guys can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Your dad sucks, but A
Yeah.
plus mom, A plus stepdad, A plus stepmom. Like, I'm glad that you have some people that are there for you
Totally agree.
and stuff, and that you have full custody.
I ended all ties here. I changed my number, not just because of my bio dad, but also my ex-boyfriend. And I never gave my bio dad my new number. I deleted him off all socials and do not speak to him. Last I heard, he moved to Florida with his girlfriend and her family. He's been arrested for more DV, which he's on a bail website for, and has been arrested for trafficking substances. Well, bio dad, if I have anything to say to you, it's that I know you did it. My ending is happy because I have 5 Christmases to celebrate, while my bio dad has none. I still have everyone I want in my life, while he has none. I hope he enjoys Florida because Ontario, Canada is doing great without him. I do not wish any ill on him, but I cannot say I care to be at his bail hearing. And there it is.
Good for you,
Good
OP.
for
It
you.
shows growth. Like,
Absolutely.
you're doing great.
Yeah.
You're growing and learning, and he's stuck in his terrible ways.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you don't have to wish him any ill because he's already doing it for himself.
Yeah.
He's doing it all that himself. You don't need that type of person in your life.
He's got his own issues. You're fine.
I told my niece the family secret because I despise her parents.
You're adopted.
I, 35 female, had 2 older sisters growing up, Jane and Kim. Kim got sick and passed away, but not before giving birth to my niece, Laura, 18 female. It had been a year after Kim's passing when Jane and Laura's dad, Tom, 42 male, confessed to dating and were now engaged. Everyone was surprised, but no one was vocally as disgusted as me. By the way, this comes from user original leading 324. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
We're here to talk about this story, maybe give a little advice, yap about it, but you know what? We don't really know what we're talking about. Secret's out. So let us know what you have to say in the comments. And OP says, I accused them of cheating. Jane and Tom explained that this wasn't something that they planned, but there was no cheating and knew that Kim would want them to be happy. It's very convenient that they would say that since she's, passed away. I did not attend the wedding and was upset at how everyone else was so accepting of the relationship. But the thing that hurt me the most was how Jane and Tom intended to completely erase Kim from Laura's life. She was barely 2 when Kim passed away, and they decided it would be better if Laura thought Jane was her mother in every sense of the word after the adoption was finalized. Tom got rid of any items that would suggest he and Kim were ever in a relationship, and made his family swear to never tell Laura the truth. Jane expected everyone on our side of the family to do the same, but I refused, and as such, I was denied access to Laura. It hurt, but when I thought about all those times Kim cried, knowing that she wouldn't live long enough to see Laura grow up, there was just no way I could honor that lie. They even had Laura's name legally changed to something that Jane liked, as Kim picked out Laura's first name. I distanced myself from my family over time over this, but my parents always tried to get us to reconcile, citing that they didn't like this arrangement either, but accepting it was better than not being a part of Laura's life at all. I just couldn't do it. Growing up, Laura had known of me, but we never really interacted. Apparently, she's interested in studying a field that I work in and reached out to me through social media. The last time I saw her in person, she was 7, and I started to tear up at how much she looked like Kim. We would talk from time to time, and eventually, Laura asked why I wasn't around. I tried to keep it vague, but Laura knew that there was more to the story, as I didn't seem like the person I was described to be. If we had been talking through DMs like before, I probably wouldn't have done it, but we were video chatting, and something about looking directly into her eyes broke me, and I confessed to everything.
Dang, wow. Wow.
The truth has arrived.
I'm impressed you held out for any amount of time.
Oh, yeah. I've just, like, the first thing you say.
Yeah,
Like,
hello.
oh, my God, no, that's not your mom.
That's not your mom. Oh, I've been waiting so long.
And it's
to
also
tell you
not
that.
your name. That's not your
It's not
name, and it's not your
name
mom.
is Laura.
Before Kim passed away, she and I made a series of videos for Laura to watch at her big moments, and I told her that if she ever wanted to watch any of them, I'd send them. Laura asked me to send some, and then I heard nothing from her for days. Recently, I got a call from an enraged Jane and Tom berating me for ruining their family.
Well, I'm not really a part of this family anymore because you wouldn't let me see you or Laura for, X amount of years. So I don't feel bad at all.
It's like the same energy as like the guy who buried that memo from like the oil companies that were like, oh yeah, no, we're definitely destroying the planet.
Yeah.
And then it's like someone just, the memo gets out again and they're like, no, you ruined it. Everything was fine
What?
until you let the thing that we said out. It's like,
Why'd you do that?
these people did this to
Yeah.
themselves. You literally set a fuse on your family. And the moment she found out the truth, it was gonna blow up.
Yeah, and you thought that was just gonna never happen?
Yeah.
They kept doing the Tintin thing where
Yeah,
they're stomping on
They're,
the
yeah, they're trying to
They're like, no.
Me
For
llamo
anyone who hasn't,
Tintin.
my name is Tintin.
Me llamo. Me gusta
You
Tintin.
could say me amo.
That's what I said.
Or they said me llamo.
That's the tricky thing with Spanish, is it sounds like every word you've ever heard at the same time. I try to be like, I could maybe keep up with conversational Spanish, and then I hear it, and I'm like,
No.
I think they said time at some point. After Laura watched some of the videos, she confronted my parents, who confirmed everything. Laura has moved out and is currently not speaking to anyone, and no one knows where she is right now. Everyone is angry at me. Because I keep seeing this, let me clarify. My parents talked about Kim and had pictures of her in the house, so Laura knew who she was. She just didn't know that Kim gave birth to her.
What?
So they just swapped places?
What?
That's even more insane.
That's so much worse. She was like, oh, who's
Yeah.
this lady? No one.
I'm never believing anything anyone in my
Yeah.
family ever tells me again except OP.
Yeah,
Ever.
absolutely. I'm saying you all kept that lie. At least you know that OP, was kind of like ostracized from the family and couldn't tell you it because she wasn't allowed to be near you.
Crazy. Again, my parents only went along with this because Tom and Jane threatened no contact unless they did. I'm upset with what they did, but I understand why they did it. So that's why I still talk to them. When I said that the last time I saw Laura in person, when she was 7, it was in a brief passing. I was coming to visit my parents' house and watched her get in the car as I was pulling up to the driveway. I didn't actually speak to her. But by the way, we can speak to you in all of the full episodes with stories like this that you can listen to on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. We're coming up to the tail end of the story here. There is a final update.
Oh boy. I think you're gonna have to get used to Laura wanting to be around you a lot more.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If she had ever come. I mean, that's enough to. It's different if it's like, oh, it's like my mom. Like, well, okay, but it's like the aunt you grew up
Yeah.
thinking was your aunt is like, that's my mom.
That's
why?
my mom,
Be
and
like,
my
why
parents
didn't you
lied to me.
freaks ever tell me this? What is wrong with you people? I'm gonna disappear and start a brand new life. See you never. That's
Absolutely.
probably what would go down. During her last few weeks of her life, Kim and I made a series of videos together so that Kim could leave special messages for Laura for important events. Kim also wrote letters for Laura too. Tom got rid of all the letters and got rid of all the final cuts and backups of the videos, but I still had copies that he didn't know about. I honestly forgot about them too, and only found them when I was moving and saw them in a small box. Yes, Jane and Tom had 2 children together. Unless they changed their minds, Jane and Tom had every intention of never telling Laura and didn't think it was a big deal since the family medical history would still be the same. Incredibly, the word despicable fits so perfectly here.
Yeah.
Just entirely despicable to do this.
These people are going to steal the moon next.
Don't put that on me. Update. Laura reached out to me and my parents. She is safe with her girlfriend.
Well, there you go.
Safe with her girlfriend. That's the end of that story.
Safe and with her girlfriend.
I caught my best friend dating my ex-girlfriend. He hid it for months.
That breaks bro code.
Cassie, 24 female, and I, 23 male, were together for 5 years. We started dating in high school and stayed together through college. Moved in together after graduation. I've been in love with her since before our first date. She's amazing, and I still think so. By the way, this comes from user ThrowRA8653568, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon,
I'm Carly.
and we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers, we only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. As Opie says, we were talking about marriage and starting a family soon. Then, one day, a few months ago, Cassie wanted to talk. She sat me down and said she decided she doesn't want kids. She didn't just mean not now, but not ever. She talked a lot about overpopulation or climate change or whatever, but I was just immediately depressed. I've always wanted to be a dad. My dad was a piece of crap, and this is something I've wanted to do ever since I was still a kid myself. When she finished talking, I told her it was over. She started crying, and I was already crying, but F. If she doesn't want the same thing that I do for the future, what else can I do? She said she's been thinking this way for years, and the vid was the last straw. I'm not going to wait around and hope she changes her mind when she might not.
Good, because she's probably not gonna. You should not assume that she's gonna.
Yeah. So, I moved out and moved in with my best friend, Ryan, 23 male. We've been friends forever. Like, we bonded over Pokemon cards. I'm wearing a Sandshrew shirt at the playground kind of thing. He's basically my brother, and his mom was my extra mom since I didn't have much at home growing up. I was in a hurry to move out, so I didn't take much stuff with me, and then I didn't want to go back to the apartment and see Cassie. So Ryan was doing the good friend thing and going to get stuff for me whenever I needed it. Oh boy. He was getting more than just stuff, I think. Yesterday would have been Cassie and I's 6-year anniversary, and it was really rough for me. So I told Ryan I didn't want to be alone and wanted to hang out and game all day with him. He agreed on everything, but was kind of distracted on his phone a lot. After a couple hours, he said something came up and just left me there all alone.
Oh, well, that's really crappy friend behavior.
Well, what was this something that came up? Was it an emergency?
No, I think it's additional really crappy friend behavior.
Yes. Crap got dark. I'm not ashamed to say I cried. There were reasons I didn't want to be alone that day. Almost midnight last night, Ryan finally came home and was acting weird, so I asked what was up. I thought maybe his mom was sick or something. She's a teacher at a school that just reopened. But no, Ryan sits me down and tells me he's moving out. He's been secretly dating Cassie since a few weeks after we split? Wow. Ryan. Way to be the scum of the earth. Way to put a guy more down when he's knocked down already. Ryan says they're in love already and that she needs him more than I do. So, he's moving into the apartment with her and leaving me here all alone.
It's a girl fresh out of a really long relationship.
Yep.
Buddy.
Wow.
Buddy.
I do not know how the F to process this. I don't know which one of them has broken me more. To make things worse, I messaged some of our other friends this morning to tell them what's up, and they already knew.
Oh, so all your friends suck.
So everyone's doing this behind your back.
Also, not that it really matters on who like the bigger betrayer is, but I do feel like it's your bro you've had since elementary school.
They all suck. Everyone sucks here other than you, OP. When I got upset, they all said it was no big deal because I'm the one who broke up with Cassie. Where do I even go from here? I can't talk to my friends. My ex broke my heart. My best friend stomped on it. And the closest thing I have to family is gone because guess what? They were his family too. I'm lost and I do not know where else to turn. And we have an update.
I don't know, but it's time to find some better
It's
friends.
time. This is the perfect time to start a new life. It does suck, but I think moving away just starting anew. Because if
I
you
don't even
stay
think you
here,
need to move away.
well, if
but
you stay here, if you see these people, it's just like a constant reminder.
sometimes you can't just uplift your job and like
No,
move
no.
places that easy.
I'm not
So
saying
like I think you can stay in the town perfectly fine if you want to, but I would still drop your friends and
no,
not
those
talk to them.
they're dropped, but obviously I'm not saying drop everything right now. But I think this is like the process and getting the wheel spinning of I should probably like I wouldn't want to be there. I would not want to be if this happened in LA, don't care. I would get out of LA. I'm like, this is a great excuse for me to move somewhere else. Experience a new city. Start new. Find new people that I can be, call friends and people I can trust from the ground up. So, but there is an update. Bigger crap to worry about than my broken heart, I guess. Ryan texted me. I'm about to be homeless in a pandemic. It's been a few weeks and some stuff has happened. But as the post blew up, I got a good number of really crappy comments that informed me I was a worthless piece of crap, or that I was probably already some kind of horrible person who hated her and wanted to control her body. I also got a ton of love, support, private messages offering connections of housing, and more, but being I was already in a dark and desperate place, those other comments really twisted the knife. I had to spend some time away not just fixing my crap, but also avoiding that stuff because it was really not making me want to move forward. One thing I want to clarify here, since a few people swung for the fences based on what I posted, I don't hate Cassie. I don't think she shouldn't move on. I don't blame her for dating someone else after I broke up with her. I do have a lot of anger still thinking about this.
I think you can blame her for dating your best friend of like forever within weeks of dumping you or getting dumped by you though. I think that one's fair to have some anger about.
Yeah, he's saying all that anger is at Ryan. That's it.
I'm just saying I think you could have anger at both of them.
I think
But I do agree. I think Ryan betrayed you more.
Yeah, especially when he's like, "Oh yeah, move into my place. I will help you move.
Right.
I'll go help get your stuff from Cassie's
I'll
spot."
be there for you. I'll make sure you get through this, and then just leaves you for Cassie. Yeah. That's a betrayal.
I think they're both equal. I mean, Ryan definitely is the one you've known longer, but they both suck. In my opinion, Ryan is the one who lied to me and went behind my back, not Cassie. My post pretty clearly stated that I think Cassie is an awesome human being. I still think that. Period. We just wanted different things. But on to actual updates. Shortly after I posted, Ryan texted me to say that he'd planned to give me a month to find somewhere else to live. But since I couldn't be happy for them, he wanted me out by Friday. Looking back on it, I kind of think this was his plan all along. Cassie's parents owned the apartment I lived in with her, so we paid bills on it, but no rent. Ryan's apartment was expensive, and his parents still paid some of his bills there. So I suspect he was looking for an excuse to break his lease and get in on that free rent instead. But I have a place to live now. You guys helped me out after all, in a weird way. A couple days after I posted, this guy, TJ, hit me up on Facebook. Hey, TJ. With the link to my post asking if it was me. TJ and I weren't close friends before all this, but he recognized some of the details. Skipping some back and forth, it turns out Ryan lied to all our mutual friends about the situation.
Shocked.
Apparently, he hooked up with Cassie the first time about a week after we split up. He asked some of our friends what to do, and they all told him to make sure I was cool with it first. He then told them he had talked to me and that I was happy for him. So, when I started freaking out a couple months later, my friends all thought I was going crazy out of nowhere.
What friends believe that you're just cool with your best friend hooking up with your ex of 6 years?
A week after you broke up.
Okay. So at least it seems like your friends suck a little less, but they might be really dumb.
Yeah, and Ryan is even getting worse and worse. He's just digging that grave. Again, my friends all thought I was going crazy out of nowhere over something I'd known about for months. Once they found out what really happened, I got a lot of apology texts. Some of them I've accepted, some are still on red. A couple of guys offered me space to crash or help moving, and I wound up staying with TJ, but only till I can find somewhere else. My days of living in places without my name on the lease are over.
Smart.
I learned my lesson there. I found a roommate looking for a place through Craigslist, and we signed the lease last week. Moving from TJ's happens this weekend. By the way, you know what you can do every day is listen to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to your favorite podcast app such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left, but I mean, things are getting at least more positive, which is good, OP. I'm happy for you. But yeah, this is such a tale of betrayal, especially
Yeah.
from Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's definitely not your friend anymore. Seems like some of the other ones might be redeemable, maybe.
I know you're putting 100% of your blame on Ryan, which I think is, very valid. But Cassie also did this to you, and she knew, like, I'm going to hook up with OP's best friend that he's moving in
Yeah, I
with.
mean, the thing is, like, Cassie doesn't matter anymore.
Cassie doesn't
You
have-
broke up with
yeah.
her. We don't care about Cassie anymore.
They
We
just-
can still
yeah.
be really upset with Ryan for a bit, I feel like. But, like, you did break up with Cassie. Is it still a betrayal that she immediately went with your friend? Yes. But, like, ultimately, if you broke up with her, like, as much as that sucks, she's allowed to do that.
Knowing
It's
Ryan-
a crappy thing, though. But that brings me back to Ryan just being like, you're crappy because then you went in there and did that with her. Like, dude, it's your
I'm-
best friend.
Knowing Ryan, he also probably lied to Cassie, saying, "Yeah, you know what? OP thinks this is a good idea.
Yeah, what?
We do this."
OP sent me over here so we could hook up.
Yeah. Why do you think he sent me over here? You think You think I want to just help move his stuff? No, I want you. There's a little bit left here. Ryan is blocked out of my life. I probably forgot some of my stuff at either his place or Cassie's, but it's whatever. I can get new stuff. I can get new friends. More than anything else, this situation made me realize the importance of having stable, independent housing and not counting on anyone else to do the right thing by me. I have to have my own back in life and not rely on others. That's about all I've got. It's nothing dramatic, I guess. No one was hit by a car, got pregnant, or turned out to be cheating. But I've never been so glad to have a roof over my head and a bed to come back to. I'm going to keep going from here, keep working on life, and I'm sure as heck going to be taking a break on the dating front. And that is
Smart.
the end of that story. Yeah, I mean, this does suck. It does suck for OP because now his trust issues, like he's not gonna have trust issues, but like it's valid to be
if
like,
it makes him feel any better, I do think Cassie and Ryan are not going to date very long.
yeah.
You probably won't have to hear about that for much time.
I wonder what Ryan's mom thinks, because like again, that's like obviously Ryan's mom, but
Wait,
OP's mother
'Cause
figure.
he probably lied to her.
Oh,
So she
probably.
probably doesn't actually know. So she probably doesn't think anything wrong about him.
I mean, she'll be like, "Why are you dating OP's ex-girlfriend so soon? Isn't that weird to you? Or like, isn't that 6 years? How can you do that?" OP was cool with it, Mom. No, good for you, OP. Go out there. You know what you learned here, and happy that you got to get a roof over your head and figure things out slowly but surely.
My friend exploited my kindness while I was recovering from surgery.
You should have had the doctors use their sharp pointies on them.
Trigger warning for physical and emotional abuse. I was away from my home for a month for a planned surgery plus recovery. This was a very intensive surgery. I'm 6 weeks out right now and I can still barely walk. At the last minute, my hired pet sitter canceled on me and I was desperate to find a replacement. I offered that money to a friend who was having housing difficulties. She was to take care of my house and my pets. I let her stay in my home while I was gone and even bought $300 worth of groceries for her. By the way, this comes from Jessie Book, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, the agreement was for her to take care of my kittens and fish and to have the house tidied up before I got home. My car would be there in case of an emergency, but otherwise, please avoid driving it. It's a lease, and I have an allotment of miles I can drive before I have to pay extra. After I was admitted into the hospital, she moved her own cat in and also her boyfriend in. When I got home, my house was an absolute disaster. Dishes piled up in the sink. Took me 4 loads to clear. Dishes and leftover food scattered around the house. Cat vomit left to dry on the floor. Bags of cat litter clumps in the hallway. half full trash bags left in the entryway, stains on the couch, floors and counters filthy. There was a 3-foot circle of wood ash on the floor around the fireplace.
You know, I'm starting to sense maybe why this friend was having trouble with housing.
Yeah.
They just destroy the housing that they're in.
They used up about 80% of my winter wood pile, so now I don't have enough wood to last me the rest of the winter. So here I am, post-surgery, barely able to walk, scrubbing the floors, doing dishes, taking out the trash, sweeping and mopping and vacuuming. But there's only so much I can physically do before I'm in massive pain. Well, you guessed it, I have been in massive pain every night since that first night, doing too much trying to clean up after her. It hasn't even been a week. She tried to negotiate with me to stay at my house for several more weeks or longer to help with the kids and take care of you. Nope, not a chance. But I'm so weak right now that I had to play it as tactfully as I could. What resulted was her staying an extra 2 days, her useless boyfriend sitting on my couch, eating my food, watching me clean up, and not offering to help. She at least cooked food for me the next day. I called my 2 besties, a married couple, and asked them to come by to ensure these 2 left my house when the lift arrived to take them home. I told them hours beforehand to pack up and be ready to leave. They waited until 10 minutes prior to finally start packing, and the Lyft driver had to wait a half hour for them. I'm surprised a Lyft driver waited.
These people are never hearing from me again. The
Yeah.
scumbaggery is so intense.
Disgusting.
They deserve zero empathy or support from you right now. You're recovering from surgery.
As they were leaving, the boyfriend was questioning my friend and asking him how long they were staying. He gray-rocked with excellence. The boyfriend was all, "I'm just concerned about her and I want to make sure she has the help she needs, and I'll be back to help out as much as I can." That a-hole did absolutely nothing to help and made everything harder on me. As soon as they were gone, my real friends sent me to bed and helped clean up my kitchen and living room. My kids also helped out. Even with that, I would still end up having to spend time over the next several days cleaning up after them. I still haven't tried to remove the couch stains, but at least my son vacuumed all the crumbs and such out of the cushions and cleaned up the fireplace. And then I discovered my car.
Ah. No, we've got a Ferris Bueller type situation brewing up, don't we?
Yeah. I had given her permission for 2 non-emergency trips into the city, about 30 miles away. She also admitted to using my car a little bit while I was gone. I was too weak to make a fuss out of it. Well, it turns out they drove my car over 1,100 miles.
They went on like a whole road trip, and that's a leased car, so that's like an insane amount of money if you go over your lease agreement.
Yeah. These parasites took absolute advantage of me while I was at my weakest. So today I sent a text requesting they pay me 30 cents per mile of unauthorized use, which adds up to $255. I'll either get some money back for my troubles, or I'll scare them away so badly that I'll never have to see them or deal with them again. Either way, it's a win. What do you guys think? We have some comments.
Where did they drive? I need to know where they drove because like 1,100 miles from. What?
It's probably like combined over, because I think
It would be there and back.
how long were they recovering in the hospital?
I was away from my home for a month.
Yeah, okay, so a whole month they had to rack that up.
1,100 miles is like
That's a lot.
going from LA to almost central Texas, San Antonio,
Yeah.
Austin, central Mexico. Insane.
I posit these people wouldn't have to guess at all whether or not they should be around me, because I'd be letting them know they're the last people on earth I ever want to see ever again.
Yeah, I feel like real answer, you get that money and we never talk to them ever again. It's not
Yeah.
one or the other.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Dillygaff84 says, Jesus, I'm so sorry this happened to you, OP. OP says, thank you. It's hard for me to enforce boundaries even when I'm at my best, but I'm trying to get better. I've been learning and practicing ever since I divorced my cheating ex. Rated PG922 says, why in God's name didn't you ask your 2 besties right from the get-go? Why did you ask some dirt pickle friend? OP says, yeah, they said the same thing. I
Pickle.
was stressed and panicking and didn't think they'd be available with their jobs, especially since I live a good 45-minute drive from them. I figured it was easier to help a friend in need than to oppose upon them. I suffered for my choice. Nut Alley says, how old are your children, and where were they when these slobs were at your house? OP says, elementary school age. I have 50-50 custody of them, so they stayed with my ex while I was gone. Why couldn't the ex help? My ex is a cheater and a liar and deeply hurt me with the multiple affairs. I would really, really prefer not to have to rely on my ex for anything other than what is strictly necessary regarding the children.
I don't know. Sounds like I would rely on him or the ex more than these people.
Oh,
I
good
don't
for your
know.
These
friends.
people need to go away.
Yeah. Another commenter says, are the fish okay? Obi says, the fish are doing well. Oh, and my water filter broke the night before I left, and I had to spend another $70 on a new one. I'm just glad the pet store was still open when it happened. Valuable Job 7956 says, is your cat okay? Obi says, kittens are doing well. Happy, healthy, well socialized. At least she took care of them well. People aren't all bad, and as much as she and her boyfriend used me, at least my pets were taken care of. I'm forever the silver linings girl. To a longer comment, I love your advice. Thank you so much. I do have external cameras. I've been meaning to get internal ones for common areas, but there's only so much I can afford at once, and right now, all of my funds are going towards divorce and medical care. Once my divorce is finalized, I'll be spending funds on my restraining order against my harmful parents.
Wow. You've got quite a lot on your plate.
Yeah. I do have quite a few friends who have since offered genuine help, just most of them live far from me. They were just unavailable at the moment I needed them. When my hired help fell through, I was desperate to find someone, and I was too stressed to think of all my options. Change the locks. Changing the locks is something I know how to do. I had to do it after the divorce when my ex's parents decided they could just waltz into my house whenever they wanted because it's the same house our grandbabies are in.
Oh my gosh.
I bought the house off my ex in the divorce.
Dang, Opie, you got one after the another thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. Anything stolen. I was so scared my medicine would have been taken that it was the first thing I looked through. Fortunately, the only valuable jewelry I have, I wear. My ex never bought me jewelry. They're all pieces I bought myself after the divorce. I still have to check out the garage and see if things are where they're supposed to be. And yes, searching the house for anything illegal is definitely something I should do. It's just hard to do everything while I'm recovering from surgery.
You really should search, make sure they didn't leave any Aztec gold laying around.
I move slow, I'm in a lot of pain, and there's always something that needs to get done, including bed rest. A comment the next morning by Brown Zeus, something like this. You need to go nuclear and publicly shame them on Instagram or Facebook or even any active group chat. It's crappy behavior and very sus the boyfriend said he wanted to come back to continue helping. People need to be warned of parasites like these or they will continue taking advantage of people.
Yeah, I loved that vibe where he was like, yeah, no, this is the time where I'm not helping at all and I'm eating snacks. The time after this one.
Yeah, very helpful.
I gotta warm up. I have a process.
He was regaining his health with snacks
Yeah.
to help her regain her health later.
I was carbo loading.
Yeah. Opie says, I did. It got worse last night, and they ended up sharing it all within a specific tight-knit community that will spread the local word. We have an update. I didn't expect an update to happen so quickly. Honestly, I didn't expect an update at all. You may call me naive. You're probably right. I just always try to see the best in people, and I hope they choose to be good. It's time to use some names. Oh, we're getting real names.
We're getting real names on this story.
It's time to use some names. Her name is Raven. I don't know if it's her real name, but that's what she introduced herself to me as, and that's how I know her. Her boyfriend is Angelo. The cat's name is Alvin, but he's a sweetheart.
Aw, that's not confusing.
A bit of background on me. I grew up in a harmful household, one of those never rock the boat homes where image was more important than anything else. If someone harmed me, hurt me, insulted me, or anything, and I got upset, I was forced to apologize to them. My dad is also an explosive man. He was fine most of the time, except for the times when he wasn't. When I was 18, he strangled me. I fled to the army, got away for 4 years, sent to war, and got PTSD. My dad has only assaulted me a few times since over the years. The most recent was last June. The time before was last February, and he left bruises on me. I ended up marrying an emotionally unavailable person who would later become a serial cheater and blame me for the affairs. For years, I accepted that blame, tried to change myself and make myself better so they wouldn't cheat anymore. I finally filed for divorce at the end of 2024. When I called my mom for support, she took the side of my ex, downplayed the affairs, and told me to cancel the divorce and beg my ex back for the sake of the kids.
Yeah, but she's just programmed by your bad dad.
Yeah.
To think that that's what you should do.
Took me a long time to be able to admit to myself that none of this was my fault, and most of that was just this past year while I've been in therapy. Despite everything that happened, I always blamed myself, not them. I tried over and over to explain to them how they harmed me. It never worked. It's not my fault that I have been mistreated, but it is my responsibility to take ownership of my healing. Fault is past-focused, responsibility is future-focused. We learn from the past, but we focus on the future. I am now estranged from my parents as of 3 months ago. You go, OP. Good job.
Yeah, keep them parents strange. Estranged.
My mom does not respect that and keeps trying to find ways to contact me, including showing up at my house unannounced. My dad has been crap-talking about me to anyone he can. He battered my ex, threatened to sue both for grandparents' rights. As soon as my divorce is signed by the judge and finalized, I'll be talking to a lawyer about getting a restraining order against my parents. All that is to explain what happened between me and Raven and why it was so hard for me to punt her out. Not only am I bad at boundaries in general, but also with major surgery, I'm in a severely weakened state as I slowly recover. I'm so thankful for my best friends for coming in to help me. I say all of this to preface what happened last night. I am too nice. I know I am, but it is not something I want to let go. People do take advantage of me sometimes. I know. It's a risk of being kind, but I refuse to let my kindness go. I want to live in a world with kindness, and that always starts with yourself. I don't want to grow into a bitter old hag. Despite posting my story only yesterday, the events took place last weekend. I returned home from surgery last Friday, and it took me until Sunday to actually get Raven and Angelo out of my house. I couldn't have done it without my 2 best friends who helped enforce it for me. Even then, they left behind several things. Some clothes, her prescription medicine, her cat, etc. They forgot the cat.
You got Alvin.
She left the cat? Okay, so either you go to jail for that, or you're clearly just doing that so that you have like a reason to come back.
Yeah. This was likely so they could worm their way back into my home, though I didn't realize it at the time. Then I spent all week taking care of my kids and slowly trying to clean the house. Yesterday was custody exchange day, so now I finally have some time to just relax and recover. Yesterday I also ran out of pain meds. I've been desperately trying to get more all week, but my surgeon is unavailable. My primary care physician is out of office. My gynecologist never called me back. Finally, I just went to the ER for pain management. The doctor and staff there were wonderful, but it still took a total of 7 hours. I didn't get home until after 9 p.m. I think, yeah, we have a message from Raven now.
I'm sorry I asked. And also, can you tell me, are we not friends anymore? Did I do something really bad?
Call 911. You're in danger, and so is everyone around you. Get the police to arrest them and get you to safety.
I already did.
Good.
I don't know what to do anymore. The cops are here, but they won't help. It looks like the cops left doing nothing in the process. I'm sorry, it's okay. I'll figure out something.
You have to figure that out for yourself. I am not your rescuer. I have my own health to take care of and my own children. Besides, I have given you a lot already, and you mistreated that. You left my house in shambles. It's taken me all week to clean up after your stay, and there's still more to do. I've torn stitches trying to make my home safe for my kids. I'm not safe around you and Angelo. He especially scares me. I'm fairly certain he's a regular user. For the time being, you're not welcome at my home. If you show up, I will call the cops. Ditch that man, get stability in your life, and I may reconsider. For now, Alvin will be well taken care of.
The stuff I don't care about, but can you please just drop my cat off so that I can get him? And I'm sorry that I didn't take care of the house well enough. Just please don't throw my cat away. No one's throwing the cat away. Can you just drop him off at the local vet on Monday? Whatever time, I'll be there. Just don't take my cat away from me.
That sounds like Raven had to get away from Angelo for some reason.
I think, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the context was, but the overall message, I guess, was that was OP telling Raven, like, yeah, so this is what's going on, and here's how I actually think and feel about this, and here's my boundary.
Yeah.
Leave that guy, and don't be a complete hot mess, and maybe we can reconnect.
Yeah.
So
as much as I want the cat to be in good hands, I do think that if she has the means to be taking care of this cat, you need to give her cat back.
yeah,
But I don't think we should hold Alvin away from Raven.
sure.
And that's it. I spent the rest of the night so scared they would show up to my house anyways. I already have PTSD from the army, which leaves me super paranoid that people are going to attack me and harm me. So whenever conflict comes up, I end up spiraling and panicking about it, imagining scenarios over and over. Fortunately, my anxiety meds help. I locked all my doors and windows. I eventually fell asleep at 1 a.m. I've been up since 5. On Monday, I plan to ask a friend to come with me to drop the cat off. Okay, cool. And then after I leave, I will inform her that she can get him, and if she can't, well, it's not my problem. As for me, today I have some different friends dropping by to cook me dinner and help clean my house some more. I have also asked them to help me change the locks. Good. Thanks to all the advice I received in my last post. Hopefully this is the end of it. I really just want to be able to recover in peace. And by the way, you guys can listen to more episodes in peace. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Okay, there's just a little edit, which I can read real fast, unless you have something.
Yeah, don't steal her cat. That's just, you're gonna, you're just gonna keep her tethered to you in another way, so just don't do
Yeah.
that. Why would you do that?
I feel like we can just be like, I'm gonna drop off your cat Monday at this time, go a little bit earlier than you said, and drop the cat off. Your friend will be with you anyway.
Absolute cinema.
Edit. To answer some of the same questions that keep coming up, yes, I have cameras, yes, I am changing the locks, but I haven't been able to do so yet. I didn't get home from the emergency room last night until 9 p.m., and I'm not in a position where I can keep running errands all day. I went to the grocery store this morning, and that took about everything I have out of me. I have friends coming tonight to help. Yes, I have a credit monitoring subscription set up, and I will be going through that when I have the time and energy. There's only so much I can do in a day before my body shuts down. Recovery from major surgery is absolutely exhausting. No, I will not keep Alvin. I do not want to have anything that will invite Raven back into my home. For all of you saying I need to keep him, I welcome you to take him for yourself and subsequently invite Raven into your lives. Then you can deal with all of this and I can recover in peace. I'll let you know what location I drop him off at, and you can go pick him up before she does, if she does at all. And that's the end of that story.
Dang, low-key, if she does it all, very accurate.
That is wild.
If she does it all.
I feel like
yeah.
if she's been hounding about the cat, she probably will at least get the cat.
They're on some sort of scheduled substance, for sure. They are on something the federal government would not approve of.
Probably.
I called out my best friend for being annoying. Now everyone's mad at me.
Were they being annoying?
Yes. Me, male 23, and my friends, male and female 21 through 24, play competitive MOBAs together.
Get out of that
usually,
friendship. Get out of that friendship.
Yeah. Yeah, MOBAs are like League of Legends, and if you don't know what that is, I'm not even going to bother explaining. We play those together, and usually we talk a little bit of crap here and there, but for the most part, we are pretty chill. By the way, this comes from user Am I the A-hole Gaming 21, and if you want to submit your own stories, why don't you go on down there to the OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we're goofballs, so you really shouldn't listen to us. We're not professionals. Tell us what you would do in the comments, because we're just curious. One of my friends, male 24, has this really weird habit that pisses me off all the time. Essentially, the more badly the game is going or the worse he is playing, the more he criticizes himself and talks about how terrible he is. The thing that drives me crazy about this is he's honestly by far the best player in our group. And whenever stuff goes wrong that obviously isn't his fault, he's just like, oh, sorry guys, it's my fault. I'm playing like crap. And this dude could be 9-0, and he will say he got lucky or got carried by us. The other day it got particularly bad when we had a series of games where it just went really badly, and he started getting noticeably frustrated. Again, he was doing the least bad in our group. It would have been more fair to blame other people in the group, like me even. He started saying over and over how trash of a player he was and how he was a trash human being that disappoints everyone in his family and all his friends. Relax. That's when I blew up and I said, I wish you would just shut the F up and just be toxic like a normal person. Blame us for the game like you should be, since you're obviously doing better than the rest of us. You're being an annoying little baby with all this self-deprecating crap.
Do you guys take what he was doing as like him fishing for compliments from people, being like, "No, you're doing great."
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both.
He then apologized and muted himself for the rest of the game. Afterwards, the rest of my friends called me an a-hole because he's actually depressed in real life.
Yeah, that's why.
Which, you know, and that's why I would still do the funny instead of being like, hey, let's make this really serious. I'd be like, trash man. Yeah, I would just like, if my friend's depressed, I'm not going to like have a chat about it in the game lobby. I'm going to like probably, you know, like link up and be like, hey, so like, are you like, let's talk about you. Are you okay? I just said being depressed doesn't give you the right to be an annoying butt to everyone in the group. It's just like toxic modesty, which I feel like is worse and more annoying than someone actually just getting pissed at people or the game like normal. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for my statements? Yeah, you kind of really rocketed in there at the end. Those last couple of paragraphs really cemented your status.
Also, doing it to your LeBron on your team, it doesn't help show your case of like the stats of like he's doing the best and you called him out for being the best and he's like, I just want to take the blame. I want like just blame some of us.
Right.
The way you
Yeah.
tackled it,
I'm wondering
not right.
too if maybe like OP and the other people were being so overly toxic that he was even just using like blaming him as a way to like stop some other people from getting blamed.
Well,
If
it
he was like,
sounds like
guys, it's me. Like maybe other people were getting really crapped on, and he was just trying to be like, no, let's keep playing, guys.
it sounds like OP just doesn't know how to process certain emotions within themselves, because it sounds like their friend being upset and sad summons something within them, and they're not really able to express it properly. Then toxic modesty, which is like, I don't even know what that is. But if that's just like someone who's really good, who's just like, yeah, you know, whatever, it's okay. That's not toxic. That's just humility.
Yeah.
But if it's someone who's like, you know, and like you were saying earlier, like there's a real level of nuance to the way things are said and delivered.
It's like I'm saying, yeah.
But it's like if someone who's just really good and they like don't really care that much, that's not toxic. That's just, you know.
I feel like this guy, the way he goes about it, if this isn't like a video game, he probably does the same thing in the real world, where he's like, if he's a perfectionist, not necessarily a perfectionist, but like if he does something wrong, he really, really gets down on himself. Like he's like, I'm a failure. Like I didn't tie my shoe.
He's depressed.
Yeah.
We know he is.
Yeah. LOL says, you are the a-hole. There are way better ways to tell him that than that. He's clearly not doing great, and you're clearly not doing well being a friend. And OP says, well, what do I even say to the dude when he's already attacking himself harder than anyone else possibly could? Like I've tried in the past to be like, oh yeah, okay, fine. It's 100% your fault that we're losing. And he just agrees. And other people in our play group think we're either joking or being wieners. So I don't know what I could even say to him to change this.
Maybe like reach out and be like, hey dude, like, are you actually okay?
Mm.
Maybe just like be a friend. That would help.
LOL says, I would have pulled him aside in private or the digital equivalent of that and talked to him about why he feels that way. He obviously has issues and needs help. His behavior is one of the common cries for help. Shutting him down can have drastic consequences for him. That said, you are not responsible for fixing him. As a friend, you probably should do your best anyway. Definitely don't do what you did, though, if you care for him. OP says, He never usually wants to talk about personal stuff outside of gaming because he doesn't want to be a burden on anyone. Ugh. Seasonal Garden Hoe says, yeah, so then leave him alone. He gets to choose who he talks to about it. The more I read from you, the more I'm pretty sure you don't experience a lot of empathy. You don't seem like a very good friend or compassionate person, and this can be fixed in truly the kindest way possible. I suggest you see a therapist. It's not normal for this to bother you as much as it does. OP says, I mean, it bothers everyone else in the group, at least some. They just aren't as vocal about it.
Have they told you this, or are you just
Yeah.
assuming that because you're bothered, everyone
Yeah.
else must be bothered?
Well, I'm bothered. Everyone's bothered. Why would I need the therapist? I'm not the depressed one. Seasonal Garden Host says, first of all, pretty much everyone needs therapy. You just sound like you've got some other issues going on. But I'm not qualified to give you any kind of a diagnosis or medical advice online. You are very annoyed by something that most people on here wouldn't be as bothered by. I think you should explore that in therapy. It's not at all meant as an insult. You sound young. There's probably still a lot for you to learn. Also, I think it's good for you to ask these questions and to take needed criticism, but judging by your responses, it seems you need a lot of validation. Otherwise, your self-esteem might crumble. You shouldn't care that much about what strangers online think of you. It sounds like that may be something you need to explore as well. And OP replies, I'm still baffled about the responses I'm getting, to be honest. Maybe I didn't make it clear enough how annoying it gets in the post. My friend has emotions, and they bother me. The whole group is annoyed by it, but they don't want to say anything usually because they want to be supportive. OP, what is the alternative? You're like, yeah, my annoying friends want to be supportive. Do you just want to tear this guy down? Like, what?
He wants him to be toxic.
Is
so
this
that
tough
OP
love?
I think
Yeah.
OP's like, my friend needs to start being toxic because I want to be the absolute worst human to him. But something inside me feels a little bit wrong when I do that, but I don't have emotions.
Yeah.
So we're not going to actually figure that out. I just need him to
They've
be
been
mean
baked
back.
out of me. Yeah, here, this is actually going to be really illuminating. I think he's taking advantage of that support. I don't know if it's intentional or not, which is the literal definition of taking advantage of something. But it
Yeah.
pisses me off when people manipulate others.
I don't. That's the thing. If
I'm
he was,
just- I need to hear it.
yeah, I need to hear it because if it was like, guys, I'm really bad. I need compliments.
You know Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, says Garden Hoe. You know how all his friends act with him? And how they don't get angry with him? Think about that. I don't know. I have no other advice or perspective to give. Winnie the Pooh. I feel that I've given it all, and there's an update from 4
Yeah.
days later.
I can totally understand if someone is super depressed and all they come to you is like, this is like my depression to like put upon
Yeah.
you to talk about. That can get tiring over time.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like
And
that.
even if it was, it's not also how you approach that.
Right.
You don't
we
just be
definitely
like,
still don't start
"Ugh,"
yelling at
which is
them.
also
we
crazy.
have
You
a
gotta be like,
private
"Yeah, man."
conversation.
Which is also crazy for one, being your friend, but two, if he's known as being your best player, you want your best player to have the best mindset, and you need to find like a support for that. Even it's like in games or in like sports or even in the workplace. You know, you shouldn't be like, yeah, there's ways to be like talking to your friends and what have you, but if you know it's like a serious undertone, and you should know your friends when it's a serious undertone, what are we doing? Kind of thing.
well, this has been a roller coaster to say the least. I was quite clearly raked over the coals by you guys last time, being a clear a-hole. I did a lot of soul searching over the weekend, trying to wrap my mind around how wrong I was, and I decided to talk to one of my other friends who's going into psychiatry to learn some more about depression, since, as most of you told me, I needed to educate myself on it. My play group basically kicked me out over this, and
wow.
after seeing things from another perspective, I realized that they had every reason to.
You were the bottom fragger.
Yeah. Yesterday, I gave a more personal apology to my friend where I apologized for being an a-hole and ignorant about how he was feeling.
okay.
Yeah, we're making some progress.
I
We're
think
progressing.
the whole friend group kicking you does, in fact, tell me that you were the one taking it wrong, and he wasn't probably annoying the rest of them.
Yeah. I then had a long talk with him about where he was with his life and how he was feeling, and holy crap, I didn't know how bad things were for him. Obviously, for privacy's sake, I'm not going to elaborate on that further, but needless to say, I honestly see him in a completely new light with regards to everything, and I'm actually shocked how, despite everything that has happened to him, he's able to be such an awesome person and friend to everyone. Speaking of him being an awesome person, he convinced everyone in the playgroup to let me play with them again and not to hold anything against me. I'm honestly super lucky here. I should be down multiple friends, and yet I've made it out somehow unscathed. Ironically enough, I now feel a bit guilty about that. I have
TLDR, OP learns empathy and emotions.
I have told him that I'll be around if he ever needs to talk to someone, and I'm hoping that I can turn a new chapter in our friendship. One more positive, and actually fitting of the title of friend.
Lovely.
And by the way, you could have the title of friend if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. And I believe we have just a little bit more story left here.
Let's hear it.
In particular, I want to thank Seasonal Garden Hoe.
Shout out.
Shout out to Seasonal Garden Hoe for their understanding and repeated attempts to get through to me. The particular comment they left that really struck a chord with me was actually this one. The Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh one. Yeah.
Shout out.
This actually meant more than they probably realized to me because Winnie the Pooh was one of my favorite things to both read and watch as a kid, so thank you. If I had any awards to give, I would give them to you. And OP says, I definitely need to be more aware of what's going on with others, not just how I feel about things all the time. And that is the end of that story.
You know what? I did not expect it to go that well, OP. You've surprised me.
With consequences
Yeah.
and shame, anything is possible.
And Winnie
This
the
is
Pooh.
true. We did have to
And
get
Winnie
kicked
the
from the
Pooh.
group after, but I'm glad that Seasonal Garden Hoe really got it.
My sister's husband said I failed their family after everything I've done.
I've done too much for you. Be gone. I don't know.
That was good. That was good. Me, 36 male, and my husband Tom, 38 male, were asked to be godparents when my sister Allison, 34 female, and her husband Mark, 36 male, were pregnant with their first child. Tom and I took that to mean that if anything happened to Mark and Allison, we would be the legal guardians. However, it appears that Mark and Allison had a different idea. By the way, this comes from Traditional Big 6808, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Angie.
And we are here to give some good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We'd only let you know what we would do in this situation, but you should let us know what you do in the comments. As OP says, less than a year after their first child was born, Allison became pregnant with their second child. Allison and I grew up in the U.S., but we come from an Indian background, so the idea of a godparent is not common in our culture. I was asked ahead of time to babysit their firstborn during the birth of their second child. At this point, I had moved for work and was now about a 2-hour drive away. I initially agreed and asked them to schedule sessions with me to teach me the basics of childcare because I've never been alone with an infant before. It's not too hard. I guess, it's hard when there's a problem. But for the most part,
Yeah.
when there's not a problem, it's like, oh, everything's
good.
peaceful. They agreed, but never actually followed through to schedule those sessions. Oh, no. As the induction date drew closer, I became increasingly nervous and eventually reneged less than a week before the birth, saying I wasn't comfortable doing this alone if they weren't going to do test runs with me. Mark and Allison were understandably very upset, but said they would figure something out. I have since apologized for this many times, and I know I really messed up here. Okay, but the thing is, they said they were going to, teach you how to do it. You've never done it before. Obviously, you just needed some, basic training
Yeah.
before you go into something. I mean, it's like anything.
Right. Yeah, you probably know what you would do. It just
Yeah.
helps to have someone there to be like, oh no, yeah, you're doing it right.
Yeah. A few months after the birth, Mark and Allison started asking me to drive over to their house and babysit. They'd usually ask me 1 to 2 days in advance, and they'd want me to babysit all day or overnight. On every one of these occasions, both parents were still in the house while I was babysitting. Despite their reassurance that I would be reimbursed for tools and gas, I never was. Oh. Okay. So they are not standing by their word. And this has not only happened once, but twice now. Well, probably many times now, but these are just the two examples we get.
Mm-hmm.
So they obviously don't stand by their word. So set boundaries. Be like, I'm not going to do this unless I am getting paid for this. Because you're 2 hours away.
Mhm.
You should be getting reimbursed for gas and for tools and whatever. Like, it just makes sense, in my opinion. And you're doing them a favor. If you're not getting paid to babysit, the least they can do is, like, you know, give you a place to sleep overnight or, like, make you food or whatever. Like, you know, what, not that you need to get something out of it, but, like, you know, that's your time and you can't get that back. And you're doing
Yeah.
them a favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
As time went on, my work got busier and Tom started having health issues. My availability diminished more and more. I also suffered a workplace injury which made driving for long periods very painful. Yikes.
Ooh.
Despite all this, I still went several times in an attempt to atone for my initial failure. But ultimately, it got to a point where I had to tell them I was unable on several occasions. I offered an alternate date to babysit every time, but they usually weren't available on those dates. This past weekend, Mark and Allison asked to meet up for dinner. They chose a place that was an hour drive from me, and since I am still recovering from my injury, my doctor advised against long drives. I asked them if we could meet closer to my home, but they said we would have to take a rain check instead. Later that evening, they called me and explained that the reason they wanted to have dinner was because they were unhappy with my lack of involvement as a godparent. They said I had not met their expectations in helping out with their children. I acknowledged their concerns and apologized again for reneging on my initial agreement during the birth of their second child. I also apologized for not being available to babysit on many occasions. I offered to pay for babysitting, but my sister said she doesn't trust babysitters. She's heard many horror stories involving babysitting services. I then offered to watch the kids if Mark and Allison were willing to drop them off at our home. They thanked me for the offer, but didn't accept. They told me that if I couldn't meet their expectations, they would have to dedicate their energy to finding help from their local community, which would mean that they would also not be available to meet up with us for social events.
Why?
They were very apologetic about this, which I found strange. I told them that they didn't need to apologize and that Tom and I understood. We took no offense to them not being available. When we ended the conversation, I felt that we were mostly on the same page, but they still seemed disappointed. I feel bad about not being available and not meeting their expectations. I know I was in the wrong for my initial reneging during the birth, but since then I've tried my best and have only refused to help out when it was truly infeasible. Am I the a-hole for not meeting their expectations as a godparent? And there are some comments. No.
No. They're
all.
treating this too much like a job and that they're your employer and not as much of like a relationship. They're being very robotic about all of this.
Yeah, and they're also not, like, I don't know, like, they were kind of, like, being apologetic or whatever about it, but, like, you have to understand that, like, that, like, just because you are the godparent doesn't mean now you have to be, like, a side parent. That's not what that is, and I don't know if that's, like, what they believe or whatever. You know, because it also said they came from, like, an Indian background, and, like, you know, godparents aren't really much of the culture, and so he's like, I don't really understand that, first of all.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And now they're, like, trying to implement that, and maybe they just don't really understand what a godparent is. I mean, or maybe I don't understand. I'm honestly,
I know.
in my family, I don't.
My whole knowledge of godparents is that it's like you say that they're your godparents, and
That's
so you're
it.
like kind of closer, or they're fairies and they can grant you some wishes.
That's true.
And they have green and pink
Very
hair.
godparents. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that it's weird that they're, like, making you feel bad about all of this when you literally have a life outside of all of this and you didn't choose to do this. And I'm going to keep saying it.
Yeah.
Here's some top comments. Commenter number 1. Have you asked exactly what they were expecting of you as godparents and told them what you were expecting? I think it might be worthwhile to be explicit about it. OP responds, unfortunately, I did not until our recent phone call. When they listed their expectations, I told them that it was not feasible for me to live up to them and offered alternative solutions. I also listed my boundaries, which is why I think they were a bit disappointed by the end of the call. There is an update. A bit over 1 month later. A couple weeks ago, my sister Allison told me my brother-in-law Mark was having a tough time due to personal trauma from his past, and that I'm there for him if he ever wants to talk. He responded saying, thanks. A week later, I got a text from Mark that left me baffled and upset. He started as if we were already mid-conversation, which immediately threw me off, and brought up a time when I had been homeless and had hoped to stay with them, but he'd talked me out of it. He also brought up a time when I let my sister move across the country to stay with me for half a year for her work. Apparently, he hadn't wanted her to move at all, which came as a surprise because neither of them had ever mentioned that he felt that way. Both of these incidents happened close to 10 years ago, long before they had their kids, so I have no idea why he brought them up. 10 years ago and he's still bringing this stuff up? Like, dude, can you not move on? It's been 10 years. I don't know. Like,
Also, like, I mean, that first one with the homelessness, that kind of sounds like I either need more context or it sounds like that guy's in the wrong.
yeah, he
For
didn't
saying,
even help.
I'm going to talk you out of staying with me when you're
Yeah.
homeless. So now I'm going to be mad at you for not taking care of my kid every once in a while?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, so he
Yeah, it was like,
brought up that was homeless,
yeah.
and then he was like,
And then
well, you're not staying with us.
I literally thought that was going in the direction of like, well, when you were homeless, I let you stay with
Yeah.
us for a long time, and
Nope.
you won't even take care of my child one night. It's like, oh, you immediately just discredited yourself there.
Yeah. He then claimed he was in danger of losing his job and hinted that me not babysitting played a role in that. They're usually very private and had never mentioned to me previously that this job was at risk. He ended his rant by referencing the incident from my previous post when I backed out of babysitting their firstborn during the birth of their second child. I was floored. I initially tried to call him, but he didn't pick up. I texted him expressing my confusion about where all this was coming from and offered to have a more in-depth conversation to air everything out so we could be on the same page. That's good. I explained again why I could not make the 2-hour round trip to babysit due to my and my husband's health issues. I once again offered to watch the kids at my place if Mark or Allison were willing to drop them off here. I even apologized again for everything that happened prior. Mark never responded. After processing the incident, I started feeling angry. I texted Allison about what happened and told her that I wanted an apology from Mark. Nearly a week later, she called me and told me to wait and that he would call me when he was ready. She apologized on his behalf and stressed that it was a rough time for them. It turns out Mark had already lost his job.
Oh, wow.
I still have no idea why, how, or exactly when that happened. She expressed that she was also upset about my lack of involvement with the kids. She mentioned that he hadn't shown her the text he sent me, but that he told her that he just said what was on his mind. Every time I tried to bring up the specifics of what Mark said, she just told me I'd have to talk to him about it. These people are exhausting. Why
They
can't
really
they
are.
do anything?
Right.
I mean, it seems like Mark needs a babysitter for the way he's acting.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids. You gotta grow up a little. She then asked if I could babysit that weekend. Dude! I refused, telling her I wasn't comfortable babysitting until I talked to Mark and received an apology from him. Last night, Mark finally called me. He didn't apologize, but informed me that I would no longer be the godfather.
Fired.
Whatever. Good.
Immediately fired.
I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
He also mentioned that he'd blocked me after his initial text, so he never received any of my responses. I asked why he brought up incidents from almost 10 years ago, and he said that he just meant that it was impressive to see how far I'd come in life that in the past 10 years. You didn't phrase it like that. You didn't phrase it, look how far you've come. You'd be like, yeah, remember when I convinced you not to be homeless?
Yeah. 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 Like, what?
Remember when you came and asked if you could stay with us, and I said, no, you got to
Yeah.
go through this hard time.
And then he's right, like saying it in an aggressive way.
Yeah,
like,
and then being like, you should be proud of that.
yeah, it's like, no, I was actually just really proud of you and how amazing you've come because you were freaking homeless and like had nowhere to go to, and I didn't even want to help you, and like, and now here you are, now you're good. Against all odds, you have succeeded. It's like, yeah, no thanks to you. What?
Why did he word it that
Mark is trying he is reaching so hard to like not take any sort of blame ever
Yeah.
for anything.
Like, no, that was to to give you the timeline of how
good.
good you've been doing.
It was good. God.
I responded that his texts were resentful rather than impressed, and he denied that was the case. Okay.
Whatever.
He then launched into a list of grievances, of course, most of which they'd never mentioned to me before. Oh, what else happened in their crappy lives?
Yeah.
For example, he complained that I hadn't helped out enough when I'd been over to babysit and had just watched TV. I tried to explain that I repeatedly asked for ways I could help out, but Allison had refused to give me anything to do and instead told me to make myself comfortable, so I just sat with the kids. I even mentioned that at one point I had to repeatedly insist she go take a nap and then I would watch the kids. It took multiple times for her to be assured it was okay before she finally agreed. Every time I gave one explanation or a rebuttal, he told me I'd just have to talk to my sister about it because he was asleep at the time and he was just hearing all this secondhand from her. The fact that these two, like, why are you in like a throuple right now?
Literally.
Like, it's like you have your sister saying like, oh, like you don't help out enough and blah, blah, blah. And then you have a husband saying, oh, like you don't help out enough, blah, blah, blah. And then they're just both attacking you.
Yeah.
You're not in the relationship.
Literally.
You're trying to help out. And they're like, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Get a babysitter, you freaks.
Honestly. Pay someone for this. Pay a professional.
Yeah. There's people out there. The call ended with him telling me that if I wanted to be the godfather, I'd have to show them that I was going to step up to the plate. Okay. I mean, I hate these people. I absolutely hate them. He told me that I'm still family and that he cared about me, so I thought that was at least a step in the right direction. But I'm still baffled by this entire situation and how it got to this point. I guess I'll update if anything else happens, but I'm hoping it'll be positive. And there are some comments. Commenter number 1. Oh my god, just stop. Block them all.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. Why are you even responding to them both at this point? OP responds, family stuff is often complicated. It adds more layers of complication when you add South Asian culture, expectations, and pressures. Ultimately, I do want to be a part of their kids' lives. Sure, this doesn't mean I'm just going to roll over and do whatever they tell me to and be at their beck and call, but I want to make sure that I can say that I did absolutely everything in my power to try and reach a place of common understanding and compromise before I cut ties and say, well, then this is not worth me making sure I have a consistent presence as an uncle. My goal is to try and at least find some sort of balance so that I can see those kids grow up and be excited to see what kind of people they grow up to be. I know ultimately it's my sister and brother-in-law's decision on if I get to be a part of their lives, but if I can't say that I did absolutely everything I could to maintain peace while upholding my boundaries for the sake of being around for the big moments in the kids' lives, then I'd feel pretty lousy, to be honest. I'm going to stop you there, OP. You have done every single thing. The only thing you haven't done is move in with them and be the permanent babysitter.
Honestly.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what else they could possibly ask you to do. Like,
Yeah, because it's just so weird. It's just, okay, I think what's weird about it to me is that, like, it was, you basically got no warning. It wasn't any sort of, like, you know, when they saw that you weren't giving as much effort as they wanted you to, they weren't like, hey, like, we would appreciate it if you, like, did this more or something like that. Like, for all we know, anyway, they didn't say anything like that. They were just all of a sudden one day called you into a meeting at dinner and was like, hey, so about your work performance.
yeah.
It's not good enough. We have to let you go. Like, it's
crazy how they think that this is like a job. They're treating
Yeah.
it like a job, like you're their employer.
right. And then, but they gave you absolutely no warnings, no like chances. They
Yeah.
were just, this isn't enough and we're hurt. And it's like, or they, I don't know, even if they didn't, it doesn't even sound like they said that they're hurt. Like they're just, I do not like how they're going about it at all. It's so
Neither do I.
exhausting.
Also telling me to just stop talking to them, but also commenting to have Reddit notify you when there's an update was pretty funny to me. Haha. Update 2, 1 week later.
Oh boy, I'm scared.
I'm back with yet another update, hopefully the final one. Yesterday was Mark's birthday, so I sent him a simple happy birthday text. He thanked me and said he hoped Tom and I were doing well. Barely a minute passed before everything went sideways, of course. Why are you still involved with these people, OP? Like, I think you're just doing it for the drama. Like, you like the drama. There's no other explanation
At
because,
this point.
like, you're not, like, what? You just get like grief and like want people to feel bad for you. But now you're putting yourself in this situation, I feel. Out of nowhere, he launched into a bizarre tirade.
Oh my God.
He said he loved me, but that they weren't taking any BS anymore. That family helps one another, and that outside of emergencies, he wished me well in my future endeavors. I told him that while I understood, he felt let down by the babysitting situation. I had already apologized and given my reasoning. I also pointed out that there had been a lot of miscommunication around what a godparent even meant. Allison and I never knew our godparents. Nobody I know is this involved with theirs, and we never sat down and discussed his expectations up front. That's when he told me I had failed them. That I said I would do something and backed out. That when they asked me for help, I told them to F off. Then he brought up my upbringing, the harmful one my sister and I had both confided in him about over the years, and essentially told me it wasn't his responsibility to fix what my family broke, and that I had no choice to be different.
Oh my God.
Mark is something else.
Mark is not someone we want to be around anymore.
Mark, go to therapy. Go
Please.
and get help.
He's about to raise children.
Yeah, this guy has 2 kids.
Yes. He's about. Oh my God.
And he's getting mad
You're
about...
That is just such an insane move to pull, where it's like you're talking about one thing, and then
You
you
sent him a happy birthday text. And he said,
literally.
by the way, I hate you. You're horrible. You don't know anything. Here's your trauma.
Yeah, it is such a crazy move to bring up someone else's harmful childhood,
Yeah.
and then like you are the one bringing that up and relating it to the situation,
Yeah.
which it is not related to,
At all.
and then being mad at me because you can't fix it.
Yeah.
I said happy birthday.
I said happy birthday.
I did not say, hey, can you fix all of my childhood trauma? No, absolutely not. That's not what I'm asking for here. Oh, this is about babysitting.
I know.
All about babysitting.
This is about babysitting, and you throw in my like past trauma.
Yes.
All this.
Oh my gosh. And you're calling me broken in the midst? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Mark.
No.
I want you to do something for me, Mark. Go into the bathroom and just look at that thing that's reflecting back at you and just be like,
Yeah.
who am I?
Yeah.
What's my problem?
Yeah.
What am I seeking here?
What am I really upset about here?
What do I want?
Is it the fact that I had a second kid when I couldn't handle the first one? Is it the fact that I do not like myself?
And apparently that's all OP's fault.
Apparently it is.
Nice,
And
OP.
more.
You're ruining this.
Oh my God.
I pushed back. I told him that almost every time he asked me to come help, I showed up despite having other things going on. And that was being completely ignored. He pivoted and said that if my reasons for not helping were because of my side business, that was a selfish response. A hobby of mine had grown into a second income, and my long-term dream had always been to turn it into a career. It had made me less available to babysit, and apparently that was unforgivable.
Absolutely it is, because once you agree to babysit, you no longer have a sense of self, and you are now just a robot.
You are deemed knight of babysitting.
Yes, that is your purpose.
I also asked something that had been bothering me for a while. Why was it always that I had to go over there? Why were they so resistant to dropping the kids off at our place? He told me my upbringing was the problem. Oh, right.
Oh, of course, of course.
That godparents are essentially backup parents. Told me to do my research, then said he was going to bed. Oh, right.
So we didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Why can't backup parents be at a different house?
Why can't you bring the kids over here? Well,
Yeah.
according to godparent rule number 17,
Right. I don't have to.
I don't have to. And also, rule 18, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
When I say this conversation's over, it's over. Good
Yeah,
night.
exactly.
I told him this felt like coercion. Like I was being forced to choose between my own life and being allowed to be their uncle. I said they weren't my kids and wished him a good night. By the way, I'm going to wish you a good night, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are, as long as you're listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app or streaming platform and search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
And we're going to be right there yelling at you.
It's true.
All right, let's freaking get done with this.
Let's do it.
His response was that this was exactly why we were no longer the godparents. And then he added that if I messaged Allison to complain, he would personally make a trip to make sure it didn't happen again. Now he's threatening you! He's like, if you talk to your sister about what we said, just know that'll be the last time.
Why?
This is a threat, OP. You can
That
go to the police now.
is so insane.
This was a family problem. Now it's like a safety issue. Mark is ex-military. The threat landed exactly as he intended it to. I told him that was way out of line, that I didn't want either of them contacting me again, and blocked him. I'm done. A few people commented on the previous post asking why I didn't just walk away sooner. All I can say is that family is complicated, and when South Asian culture comes in, there's even more layers of complication and pressure. Allison has always been the only family member with whom I am close, so I was hesitant to lose that connection. Furthermore, I'd hoped to be the uncle to their kids that I never had growing up. If I were to walk away, I wanted to first make sure I tried everything I could while upholding my boundaries so that I could still be there as an uncle. Honestly, now I can say that I have done that and I can move on with peace of mind. I tried everything I could to maintain a healthy relationship without being a pushover. I'm done with them. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
It's just, I feel bad for people who think they have to do every single thing in their power to like make it right so that they can't feel guilty.
Yeah.
And it's like you're just putting more stress on yourself and you're giving them to go to keep going.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're doing actually.
Mhm.
You're saying like, oh, well, I'm going to wait till something worse happens. Well, this isn't really a big deal. I'll wait until it gets way worse. Like
Yeah.
that's what you're giving them permission to like do that. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, in your mind, you think like, oh, this is a good thing. Like, you know, the kids will remember me as like, I tried to do everything. They're not going to tell them anything. They're not
Yeah.
going to tell like good stuff. Like you can't force people to think of you in a specific way.
Totally.
Even if that is who you are, but you can't control other people, OP. But I'm glad you're done. I hate that it came to all this,
Honestly.
but yeah.
With how close you guys were initially, I was really hoping like, no, I mean, this is like, yeah, he was going a little too far, but like, I'm sure that they could come around and you can be like, hey, that was weird. But it just kept getting worse.
Yep.
So yeah, it definitely is past the point of no return. Unfortunately, this is not someone that you want to be around. If maybe someday they come back and they're like, hey, I'm so sorry. I don't want you to like, you don't need to babysit. I'm just saying sorry. And they actually show that they're different, then like, I don't know, maybe you can be friends again. But
I wouldn't even believe it.
yeah, it doesn't seem likely.
Yeah.
This is
Seems
pretty
like
wild.
they're these types of people are just takers. They're just going to take. And then when you stop, they're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
What? How dare you? What? You're not at her beck and call? I hate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A family got their membership revoked. It took 3 generations to get there.
A generational fumble.
For context, I've been working at a resort restaurant for almost 4 years that also operates as a private club for members. As you'd probably expect, most, if not all, of our members are very rich people who usually either own or manage some major successful business or inherited money from a family member. Despite their privilege, however, it hasn't stopped these people from being kind and respectful towards the staff and guests. By the way, this comes from Kipsy Cakes, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, they're honestly really sweet people most of the time, and only ever act entitled when they feel they haven't been given the basic treatment expected for any guest at our hotel. Even the owner himself, who visits every so often, doesn't ask for anything outrageous if he knows he can't get it from us. That doesn't mean entitled types aren't uncommon, but even still, their behavior doesn't last long. They can demand a manager all they want, but a manager can still say no and get away with it. This is because no matter how much they scream or cry, throw their money or titles around, or act like a knucklehead, our resort still puts the happiness of their staff over money. As the HR rep at our recent annual training said, no matter how important our members are or how much money they spend, that doesn't give them the right to treat others badly or act like they're better than those around them. We have no tolerance for that. So pull up a chair and get your popcorn, because I'm about to tell you the 3-part story about how a family of 3, a daughter, a mother, and a father, had their memberships completely revoked and their faces plastered on do not serve signs because they decided to throw a fit and threaten staff, managers, and eventually even one of the big bosses himself. Let's begin.
Like, I don't know where this club is, but the image of Big Boss, I just see like a cartoonishly large man walking around with suspenders.
And there's like
walking
a boom,
around my
boom,
uptight
boom,
my.
boom.
Now I heard you've been treating my customers, I hear you've been treating my staff a little poorly.
I was going a little more mob boss in my mind.
No, I'm going like Foghorn Leghorn Southern, 800 pounds,
Jeez.
but like not like in an like unhealthy way, like in a almost like a mythical creature kind of way. Like he's like 700 years old. He's like a dwarf. Like a Tolkien dwarf.
Okay. Side note, this story took place in a different restaurant, a sports bar, and was told to me by a bartender who had connections there. I know the important details and not any fluff, so keep that in mind. Oh, we have chapters. Chapter 1, the daughter. This story started when a new girl, Heather, was hired to work as a waitress at a sports bar. Heather had known about the job through her parents, Mrs. Karen and Mr. Kevin. I wanted them to be both Mr. and Mrs. Karen.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Karen.
Who were both members at our resort. Hiring children of members actually isn't uncommon, since whenever the parents needed their child to get a job, they'd automatically consider the resort due to their connections. However, you don't get any extra perks for being both a member and employed here. One night, when Heather was working, the bar got hit really hard and it was an all-hands-on-deck kind of situation. So imagine the surprise when a frantic waitress ran across the table where Mrs. Karen, Mr. Kevin, and Heather were all sitting. Heather was happily laughing with her parents, eating food, drinking a massive no-no, by the way, for a multitude of reasons, and generally just slacking off. The employee walks up and says to Heather, "Hey, what are you doing? You're supposed to be working. I need your help here." Heather brushes the employee off and says, "I can't. I'm spending time with my parents right now." The employee responds, "You can't do this. We're in the middle of a shift. Please help me." Heather repeats her refusal. "Leave me alone. I'll work when my parents are gone." Her parents didn't say much as far as I can remember. So the employee, red-faced, did what any other person would do in the situation and told one of the managers, who was furious. When the manager approached the table, she was even angrier. Maybe it was the cocktail her employee was holding or the fact that Heather had misbehaved before, but the manager fired Heather that night and sent her home. Good on the manager.
Goodbye.
I can't remember whether the parents were there or not at that moment, but I recall being told that once or twice they called to complain how it was unfair that their child was fired because insert reason here. However, it wouldn't be the last time they intervened. Chapter 2, Mrs. Karen.
I can't think of a worse way to try to get your job back than by like your parents calling and being like, "That's not very fair of you.
Yeah.
My daughter deserves to work." Oh, your daughter.
Connections are
Oh,
not. It's not good.
maybe she should call us herself.
About a week had passed since Heather was fired, and it's just a normal day for the sports bar. As typical, the employees just started arriving for work and started preparing the bar and restaurant area for the guests who'd be arriving in an hour. Among those employees was the manager for that day, who I'll call Alice. Alice was actually one of the main managers of the sports bar and was very good at her job. I've worked with her once before, and she's one of the kindest, most loving ladies you'd ever have the pleasure of working with. She was helping the employees with their duties when the doors to the bar opened unexpectedly. A guest coming into the bar before opening wasn't uncommon, but this wasn't any normal person. It was a very, very angry Mrs. Karen, who who immediately upon entering the bar started screaming at the staff, "My daughter has the vid and now she's sick. I bet she got it from one of you, didn't she? I can't believe you monsters would do that to her. You fired her and then you get her sick. Don't you know who I am?
I do know who you are.
You're Mrs. Karen."
You're annoying.
For the record, this happened mid to late 2020 when the vid was still a big issue. Masks were mandatory for businesses and vaccines weren't even available to the public yet. The staff immediately stopped what they were doing and started watching. Keep in mind, this sports bar was actually one big massive room, so everyone there could see and hear everything.
I know what state this had to be in.
I know.
I'm
I'm
starting
like,
to
why
piece
are
together.
you open at all right now?
I'm starting to piece together what kind of resort we're talking about here.
Yeah, as soon as they were like, everyone's rich. Oh, close the bar. Close the country club. What are we doing?
Welcome to the state of Florida.
Alice tried to approach Mrs. Karen and asked her to calm down and to leave because they weren't open yet. However, Mrs. Karen kept screaming and making a major scene out of everything. Alice shifted to a more strict tone, insisting Mrs. Karen leave or she'd get security involved. That's when Mrs. Karen noticed something behind Alice. One of the employees had gotten their phone out and started recording everything that was happening. I mean, obviously, someone would do that in this day and age, right? Is that obvious?
I think so, yeah. It's like, think about, I remember being in working in restaurants, and if we were opening up the restaurant and some lady came in screaming her head off, yeah, somebody would have whipped out a phone and went, "Yo, what is going on here?"
Mrs. Karen was furious and turned her anger onto the employee. She ran up to them and smacked their phone so hard it flew out of their hands, and then proceeded to scream at them even louder than before. "Oh, that would be bad for you, ma'am." Alice immediately called security, who came to the bar almost immediately. Mrs. Karen had to be physically dragged out of the building by two very large security guards as she screamed every possible thing an entitled person could say. As you'd expect from a situation like this, an incident report had to be filed, and since Mrs. Karen was a member of the resort, her and Mr. Kevin's membership was temporarily suspended pending investigation. Security even had to print posters with Mrs. Karen's face on it, saying to keep watch and under no circumstance serve her or even her husband until further notice. And then it got worse.
Oh boy.
Chapter 3. Mr. Kevin.
Ooh, Mr. Kevin.
The time frame between Mrs. Karen's freakout and this wasn't ever told to me, but I remember it happened so soon after that the original posters with Mrs. Karen on them hadn't even been taken down yet. Needless to say, Mr. Kevin, who was the primary holder of the family's membership, was furious about what happened. But what do you think he'd do? Did he try to reach out calmly and apologize? Did he wait a little for the dust to settle before repairing things? Most employees actually know where most of the major managers' offices are and know how to find them. While this was never taught to me when I was first trained, I believe it's probably just a cautionary thing. One of the major managers, our resort's general director, had his office located in the main building and, as you'd guess, has power over various departments. As you'd expect, his name is everywhere, including major emails the members would get about newsletters and things like that. Everyone knew this man, knew his face, knew his position, and knew what he did. On that fateful day, Mr. Kevin arrives at the resort and immediately started asking employees where he could find the general director. Some naive fool, who probably had no idea of anything going on, gave him the answer and told him where he could find the GD. Honestly, no idea why this employee gave the answer so willingly, and maybe I'll never know. But Mr. Kevin charged to the office. Mr. GD was quietly sitting at his desk and his office when Mr. Kevin threw open the doors and without hesitating unloaded all of his fury upon the man. Mr. GD, a man who'd I'd never seen angry or raise his voice, immediately told Mr. Kevin that he shouldn't be yelling at him and that he will get security involved. But say it with me,
Mr. Kevin didn't stop.
He instead kept insisting his membership be reinstated, that his wife be let back onto the resort, and that this was all ridiculous. He spends thousands on us, and that we should apologize. After all, it wasn't his fault, but Mr. GD wasn't amused. Of course, he was aware of the situation with Mr. Kevin's family and membership status, but his hands were tied, and what Mr. Kevin was doing at that moment wasn't exactly gonna help him. I mean, would you help a man who just barged into your office unannounced and started screaming at you? Almost immediately, just like his wife, security was called, and Mr. Kevin was dragged out of the office and thrown off property. I even think police got involved, but I can't remember for sure. What I do remember is this being the final straw for Mr. Kevin and his family, and courteously of Mr. GD, Mr. Kevin's entire family not only had their membership terminated, but were even banned from the property. Well, what would you expect to happen? Play with fire, prepare to get burned, right?
No, because I'm using fireproof gloves.
Well, and that would help. And that's why you're not banned from the country club.
Exactly.
And by the way, you can listen to more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. Oh, and we have another chapter, but
Oh, boy.
what thoughts do you have?
I've loved to work for this place as an employee.
Sounds
Yeah.
dramatic.
I just mean in that they, defend their employees first.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine the lack of awareness of just being like, I spend thousands here. It's like, yeah, you and everyone else.
Right.
Oh, no, we have to apologize to you? No, we don't.
No, we don't. Your membership's literally under review right now. I wouldn't be doing this, sir.
Yeah.
Chapter 4. Epilogue. I remember first learning about this story myself when I saw the posters for myself. I imagine a piece of paper with a family picture of Mr. Kevin and Mrs. Karen hung on the walls of security's office with these fine words written. Mr. Kevin and Mrs. Karen's membership has been suspended, terminated due to their poor treatment of staff and guests on our property. If you see these two anywhere on property or at sports bar, do not serve them and immediately call security. Thank you. The posters stayed on that wall for almost 2 months. I'd often talk to some of the officers at security. I would visit them a lot before I started work for the day during the summer, and they never saw or heard from them again. As my coworker finished the story, she laughed loudly and said, "Those nutcases had it coming. Good riddance." As far as I know, none of them were ever heard from again. Well,
From
that sounds
anyone.
creepy. Yeah.
As far as I know, they slipped into the space between spaces.
But that's the end of that story.
My mother-in-law made my postpartum a nightmare, and I blame my husband. I'd blame him too. Me and my husband had a disagreement about who should stay with us after the birth of our baby, whether his mom or my mom or both. The presence of a grandmother was mainly needed to help in childcare and new mom care. By the way, this comes from Hefty Chemist 3936, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my mother-in-law has a habit of finding flaws in everything anyone does, and is always a victim in every situation. Great. Our favorite kind of mother-in-law.
Woohoo!
Our favorite and most common kind of mother-in-law in these stories. She is constantly brooding about how life has been unfair to her. She talks about having had a strict mother-in-law herself and how her own daughter, my husband's elder sister, has a terrible marriage. According to her, my sister-in-law's mother-in-law is an evil witch who makes her slog endlessly. The only thing running in my mother-in-law's mind is bitterness towards anyone who seems to have even a speck of happiness in their marital life. She disses women who have undergone C-section surgery, saying they chose the easy way out.
That's not it.
I don't think so. She calls women of today's generation weak and selfish for not undergoing the pains of labor.
Sorry, we have medicine now to
Right.
keep us, I don't know, normal.
Yeah.
At least
Sorry.
kind of.
Sorry you had a painful labor. Sorry you didn't get a C-section when you want one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yada yada. Many other things that would make your blood boil. These comments were constant and exhausting. They created an environment of judgment rather than support. Anyway, my husband said he couldn't hurt his mom by not having her here during the birth of her first grandchild. He said he is her only son, and she would feel alienated if we didn't call her. I felt that she wanted to be here only to assert her importance. I also felt she wanted to preach about how great a mother she has been. She seemed to feel irrelevant in her children's lives and wanted validation. Despite my discomfort, both mothers came. Cut to the birth of my daughter. My mom and mother-in-law were both in our house. I needed my mom because I was not comfortable with anyone except my own mother, seeing how my body looked. My baby could not latch, and we got whichever pump everyone around was using. I ended up with a pre-loved Spectra. My mother-in-law once happened to see how it pumped milk. She laughed at my face and called me a cow. Wow, bro. She had never seen a pump before, but I don't think that that's the right thing to say to a woman who is grieving the loss of her figure and missing her old self so much. I hadn't slept properly for 10 days. I was emotional, sleep deprived, feeling depressed about my state, and generally pissed off from her constant rant about how difficult her daughter's postpartum had been. I swear to God, something inside me just passed away. I developed so much bitterness towards my husband for exposing me to this emotional turmoil for no good reason. All of this was done just to keep his mom happy. My mind kept replaying scenarios in which my husband prioritized his sister and his mom. In my most vulnerable time, he chose to give more value to his mother. She was nothing but a pain to me. I broke down in front of my husband after the cow comment. My husband was furious at his mom. He didn't confront her in front of me, but he was unhappy and expressed this to her later. The baby still wouldn't latch, and I was overproducing milk. I had no other option but to pump. I hated holding the milk bottles, the wires, and the noise of that pump. There was something so animal-like about the pumping experience. Someone seeing me pump like that made me feel terrible. I conveyed this to my husband, and he empathized with me. My mother-in-law also found it funny that a baby's latch could hurt me. Her comments felt dismissive and cruel. They added to my emotional exhaustion. That's crazy. Did this mom never have birth? Like, I feel like those are the only things that I've heard is that, like, pump is normal, C-section's normal, nip pain from being, from a baby biting onto you sounds normal to me.
Yeah, they
is-
have like lotion and like butter, like body butter.
Yeah,
to,
it's like a thing.
yeah.
It's a very common thing.
Yeah, my sister-in-law was like, yeah, it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a human like biting you.
Right. There you
With
can't
no teeth,
the
but still.
baby doesn't know to be gentle.
Right.
Like, yeah, it really sounds like this mom has never heard of anything birth-wise. She's just like, I was alone in the middle of the country. I birthed the baby myself. And like I had
Into the hay.
I just bit onto a belt and that was it. It happened in 3 minutes. It was over. Pain was there, but I pushed through it, and then I went to war afterwards. That's literally like how she's feeling. She's like, I went into battle, and I was fine,
and my body returned right back to normal as soon
Yeah.
as the baby was out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Deep inside, I was distancing myself from my husband mentally. His life had not changed. He could resume work and did not undergo an ounce of change in his body. My front airbags were engorged. I couldn't sit well because of the episiotomy stitch. That's my best guess on how that word is said. And my hand pained from the drip insertion. Oof. My chest constantly leaked milk. In this dire situation, there was a woman who laughed at my pain, downplayed my struggles, and kept ruminating about her daughter's postpartum experience. Being fixed to a chair, pumping every 2 to 3 hours made these feelings worse. My husband constantly tried to make me feel better with small gestures. Still, the fact that he didn't ask his mom to leave when her presence was so pressurizing made me hate him deeply. He got me a Stacy wearable pump on a friend's recommendation. At least it removed the feeling of pumping like a dairy animal. My physical pain got better because I didn't have to sit with my shoulders stiff. Things were beginning to improve slowly. My bleeding also came to an end as I had delivered normally. Pumping became easier and not wearing a pad reduced a lot of discomfort. I started to feel slightly more like myself again. The improvement was gradual but noticeable. My mother-in-law left after 45 days of my delivery. She wanted to show her friends that she stayed for my postpartum period and served me, followed all the traditions, and did everything expected. That was the best day of my life that she left.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't even tell her something like, visit us soon. Honestly, I was scared that she might take it as a hint to overstay or to come back again. I still had a lot of pent-up rage about the things that she told me. Statements like, you're not the only working woman who has given birth, stayed with me. She would say, you should eat fast and look after the baby every second. She asked, when will your tummy go inside? What? That's a horrible statement.
That's also just crazy. Like, why do you think that's how it works at all? It goes inside. Why don't you just push it back in real quick? Like, what?
Why aren't you doing sit-ups right after you gave birth?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
That's like,
Go to the gym.
that feels like a way that a child would explain things. Like, this 3-year-old child that saw his mom have a second child or something like that is like, why isn't your tummy inside anymore? And it's like, you're a kid. I'll understand that you don't know what's going on. But this is a full-grown woman who has given birth multiple times, who is saying, when will your tummy go inside? Like, are you actually joking? Give her some crayons and tell her to go sit in the corner with a coloring book. That might distract her for enough time. Like, my God. These words cut deeply and stayed lodged in my mind. She even told my husband, you need to give some gold to your sister. It is tradition. What? All the while, she gave me or my daughter nothing. Yet she expected my husband to reward his sister for no reason? This entitlement added to my resentment. It made me feel invisible and unappreciated. I decided to undergo therapy, and I am at so much more peace now. The things I uncovered in therapy are a story for another day. I will always remember how she treated me when I was at my most vulnerable self. I've learned to judge people solely by their actions, not by what they say. Her actions made me feel reduced, depressed, and at one point I even considered breaking my marriage. Sometimes it still triggers old repressed emotions about how she treated me. I take solace in the fact that she doesn't stay with us. I did not purposefully choose for her to be in my life. She has shown me who she truly is. I am strangely grateful for having seen her true self so clearly. And by the way, I would be super grateful if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is more to this story, but yeah, I mean, I don't know where we are in the story, how long it's been since this stuff has happened. It sounds like it's relatively recent, but I mean, I hope that your marital issues have gotten better. I have heard of that being a thing, like when you have a baby and tensions are high, if it's like a difficult pregnancy, or if, you know, just general emotions that are happening. Like, I have heard that it can cause some, I guess, unstable
tension,
tension, something unstable in the relationship. So I have faith that your marriage could be picked up again. Hopefully it does.
Yeah, I think OP, you're just like mad that you know, your husband didn't really stand up for you.
Yeah.
Like for, you know, the comments that your mom made, which
Right.
he should.
He totally should.
He should have said something,
Mhm.
and he should have been like, Mom, like, seriously, you know, you could have just like called her out once, but like during
Mhm.
that whole like 45 days
Yeah.
of postpartum, like, you know, her just being there and constantly just like saying something, and just being like, listen, I am exhausted. I don't need you to tell me how bad my body looks right
Right.
after I give birth.
Right.
Thanks for that,
Right.
but I don't really need it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I do still think he's like in the wrong for not defending you, but hopefully some conversations can turn things around.
Yeah, I don't think that he's like a horrible person. I think he should have definitely done something different, but
Yeah.
that doesn't make him like, you know, like he's still your husband, you still love him, whatever. Like, that's the only thing that is causing the issue, and that could be resolved.
Hopefully. I've decided to protect myself and my marriage from her. My husband has accepted his mistake of not placing me first during my postpartum period. Nice. He apologized profusely. I could never directly breastfeed, but it became a blessing in disguise. I was able to feed my baby, pumped milk on time, and develop a sleep schedule. I made sure she drank enough milk during the day and slept well at night. With the later positive experience of exclusive pumping, I finally got the rest I needed. That rest helped me soften towards my husband again. My husband eventually drew appropriate boundaries with his mom after this stressful phase. He realizes this could have been the end of our marriage, and I am glad that he acted when he did, or else it probably would have been.
Yeah, I mean, really, it sounds like OP was ready for it.
Yeah. If you're a new mom and are exclusively pumping, don't let anyone make you feel less of a mom, especially not your mother-in-law. And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, wife, woman, mother, warrior. I salute you. I would have gotten her butt straight out of the box. Babies who don't latch are exhausting at first, but become a blessing later, as you've learned. Everyone's chest is painful each time they begin nursing, and hers were no exception unless they were made of concrete. She's a nightmare. Nobody should stay with you ever to make it fair, and the fact that he didn't make her leave, especially after the cow comment, tells me that he had no idea what he bit off either. You need to let him know that in the future, all interactions with his mother are pre-approved by you, or he can go see her alone, but never allow that overstepping and exhausting woman access you unless you control it. Please know that you made a miracle, and you are going to heal and learn how to be you again. Congratulations, Mama. You are doing great. Opie says, thank you so much for your kind words. In India, paternal grandmas try to make everything about them. It still upsets me sometimes that I didn't fight hard enough to let her not be here. I had to undergo so many sessions in therapy to be able to undo the crap that she created. And that's the end of that story. Well, I mean, it sounds like we got there in the end.
Yeah.
We talked to husband. He apologized. He understands what he did wrong, and he's making things different now.
Yeah. There's now like a boundary with mother-in-law.
Right. Like, obviously, she still sucks, but yeah, the boundaries are going to help big time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And you're in therapy, so I'm proud of you guys.
You're getting it done.
You
OP.
sure are. Look at you go. Good job, OP. My client tried to get a free service from me, but she didn't expect what happened next.
She got charged triple.
Earlier today, I had a new client book me for a mobile massage. I've never worked on this woman, possibly in her early 30s, before, so because of that, I make sure to go through all the expectations well before the massage and ensure that my clients get every bit of what they're paying for. By the way, this comes from Best Pirate 5073, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we only know what we know, so let us know what you know in the comments. So we did just that. We chatted for about 5 minutes before we got started, and she was really kind. She went into detail about exactly what she wanted, and she asked for a 1.5 hour massage, told me exactly what areas to focus on. She had 0 areas to avoid, which would be pain points, and had reported no pain, so all was golden, as far as I could tell. So we finalize everything and start the massage. As we're going, I make it a point every 15 to 30 minutes to check in and ask questions to ensure everything was exactly what she wanted. Every time I asked, she enthusiastically said it was perfect and that she was super relaxed. So we kept going. Now, once her 1.5 hours hit, I decided to take an additional 15 minutes to give her a scalp massage, hot towel, and even hot stones. Again, this is after the massage. This is just something I've always added on for my clients as a thank you. And again, I made all of this very clear that this was free and on me. As we're wrapping up and I'm putting up all my stuff and getting ready to have her get up and change, she suddenly says to me, "Wait, was that a deep tissue massage? I wanted a relaxing massage. The pressure was too hard for me." I politely replied, "Oh no, that's what we agreed upon, and I asked you about pressure along the way and you said it was perfect. Did I miss something?" She then sits up, looks at me, and says, no. So I definitely am not tipping you at all for something I didn't even want. That is not what I asked for. If you were a good massage therapist, you'd give me more time and make sure I'm taken care of." And when I tell you how fast I told her to get her butt off my table, pay me, and lose my number, we do have some comments.
That's
It
crazy.
was like this fast. I was gonna commit to like lunging over here, but then I was like, I don't want to do that actually.
Pretend that.
So
you did
it
that.
was as fast as me losing my commitment to lunge off to the right.
There you go.
That's how fast it was.
There you go. We do have some comments. Jim Giovanni says, "Unreal. She's nuts." Opie says, "I couldn't agree more." Slow Challenge says, "This is like when someone finishes the meal they ordered and then tells the server they don't like it. So sorry this happened to you." Tech Fiend 5 says, "Yep, first thing that came to mind is this is a scam tactic. Wanted a reduced price to not have to pay tip or was hoping it would be free." Adventurous Sun says, "But it is such a short-sighted thing to do. Finding a good massage therapist isn't easy." Girl with the Monkey says, "I would cut off my arm for a dang massage and then just getting a scalp massage too." OP says, "Yes, I did the whole thing." Useless says, "Did you at least get paid?" OP says, "I did." And we do have an update from 3 days later. What do we think is going to happen here?
Revenge.
Okay, got it. Revenge. Hopefully, let's find out. Update 3 days later. Hey everyone, thanks for all the support on my original post from a few days ago. Y'all had me cracking up with your stories and advice. I tried to reply to as many as I could, so sorry if I didn't get back to you. I honestly thought that was the end of it after I booted her entitled butt out, but oh boy was I wrong. Buckle up because this update is straight out of a bad reality TV episode.
Oh, those are the good ones.
That's the ones we like. So, after she paid me, grudgingly, and mumbling about how she'd never recommend me and that I was unprofessional, fine, whatever. I've got a solid client list and glowing reviews. But then yesterday, I get a notification regarding a 1-star review from her claiming that I assaulted her with aggressive pressure. Oh, what? Ignored her requests and even tried to extort her for a tip. She straight up lied, saying the extra 15 minutes was forced on her and that I demanded more money for it. The audacity! P.S. I saw some comments predict that this would happen, but I was shook when it actually did. I was fuming, but I kept my cool and responded professionally in the app, explaining our pre-massage chat, the check-ins where she said everything was perfect, and that the extras were free. I even attached screenshots of our initial texts confirming deep tissue. She's got the receipts. Nice. Turns out, the app mods reviewed it and removed her BS review within a day, citing it as defamatory. So that's a win for me. And the cherry on top, one of my regular clients, who I vented to anonymously, recognized the description of the woman and messaged me after her session. It turns out this woman is notorious in my other clients' local Facebook mom groups for pulling similar stunts with hairdressers, nail techs, and even a dog groomer. She's been blacklisted by half of the service pros in town.
That's so... What a genius move.
Yeah.
To just have a perfect service and then be like, it was actually too perfect, loser.
Right. Right.
That's gonna be less money for you.
Yeah. That's crazy. Karma's working overtime, and we are working overtime to make sure that you guys can listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Just search OK Storytime. There is more to this story, but I really am happy with how this has been going. You
Me
would
too.
agree?
I do. I think she should be shamed
Mm-hmm.
in a public setting.
Oh.
Maybe with like a shame massage of some kind.
Or a pie to the face.
I think a shame massage is like all the masseuses and masseusers.
Masseurs.
Mrs. Seuser?
Masseur.
Mrs. Seuser?
Mrs.
Yeah.
Mrs. Seuss.
Are you
I'm
seducing me,
the
Mrs.
wife-
Seuser?
My
the
name
wife
is
of Dr. Seuss.
Mrs. Seuser. I am a masseuse.
Are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Seuser?
Seuser, the masseuse? I've lost track. All of
shame
them line up
massage?
and they give her a shame massage, which is just like, they all just walk up and they're like,
They throw
What are you
tomatoes.
doing?
They massage
I
her
was
with
going to say that
tomatoes.
they spit on her, but that felt like maybe like too far.
She's probably into it.
I think they throw tomatoes. If you got a bunch of like not rotten tomatoes thrown at you, that would feel kind of like a massage.
Yeah, it would hurt.
Yeah, it would
When
be
they're not
that's
rotten, they
quite
are
the-
firm.
quite the deep tissue massage that you'd be
Yeah,
getting there.
they only splat when they're stinky.
We should go to Spain for that. They do that.
They actually do
There's
that.
like a huge tomato festival where like they just like
They throw tomatoes everywhere.
Just
Yeah.
throwing tomatoes
yeah,
around.
it's like tomatoes everywhere.
Oh man.
Crazy. I hope they make enough sauce out of that.
Moral of the story, always document everything, folks. And to any other massage therapists out there, trust your gut on those kind at first clients. They've got layers like an onion, and sometimes they stink. Thanks for reading. Now back to my non-drama clients. And there are some final comments here. British Spears says, I'm so glad you got that closure knowing it's not just you that she's done that to. Things like this make my head spin, and I would have been replaying it all in my head over and over. Good for you. People like that destroy people's confidence and even end careers. Opie says, oh yeah, I mean, it was a wild ride with her, but knowing that she was a common problem helped make me not feel like it was a me issue. Interesting Wing says, so glad to hear how this turned out. I'm not surprised that she's pulled this crap at other places. She's eventually going to run out of places to go to, and will have to start going out of town. Opie says, I mean, let's hope so at this point. And that's the end of that story. I would hope so too.
My girlfriend's family tried to underpay our server until I stepped in.
Ooh, never underpay a server. What's wrong with you?
My girlfriend and I went to eat lunch at a restaurant with her sister and her kids, 7 to 10 years old, and her 2 brothers, along with their girlfriends, all 25 to 26. We were running late, and when we got there, most of everyone at the table hadn't been served yet, even though they had been there close to an hour. By the way, this comes from Asteria 32, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
We're here to give good advice goofily anyway, so if you have answers, please put them in the chat, because we don't know everything. Our server came around and told us they were severely understaffed. She was the only server and was waiting on 3 other tables. I looked to the kitchen and saw only 2 cooks. My girlfriend's family tells us that they saw our server crying before we got there.
Aww.
More people came in and saw they were understaffed and walked back out. Since we got there late, our server told us there were other tables ahead of us. We ordered anyway. Over 20 minutes or so, our server brought out our orders one by one. All the meanwhile, my sister-in-law and my girlfriend's brothers were joking that this restaurant has terrible service. She already explained.
Yeah. There's like no one else to work. She's literally like working all of it. And you saw her crying earlier.
That's so messed up. She better not get tears in my food,
Oh, that's rude as heck.
my brother-in-law said, which is messed up considering our server is having a bad day, but that's the type of humor they bring. At one point, everyone is pretty much done with their food and we're just waiting on our check, and my sister-in-law suggests that we should just get up and leave, as in dining and dashing. I guess in protest to the poor service. Everyone seems to be in agreement.
What?
Wow.
So we should just make this girl's life even more hell.
Wow.
Like, what is wrong with them?
These people suck.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I don't say anything. They ended up staying, but then our server comes around with the bills, which she separated individually by order. She goes through each bill and asks who had what order. She even stops and apologizes for the long wait and says that people just don't show up for work. She announces the large bowl order and no one says anything. I look at my sister-in-law and she is suppressing a smile and trying to look inconspicuous. Eventually, my sister-in-law speaks up and says that no one at the table ordered a large bowl, just the regular one. The server, without even looking up, says she'll just charge it as a regular since no one had a large. My girlfriend paid for our order, which wasn't a lot because we canceled the rest of the order towards the end. Our server takes our cards and leaves to go ring them up. I get really angry at this point because I see a woman trying really hard to make the best out of a bad situation, a situation out of her control. I get up and go to her and tell her that I will pay for the large bowl. I admit that it was my sister-in-law that had that order. She asks if I'm sure I want to do this, and when I say yes, she thanks me for my honesty. I even try defending my in-laws by saying that they aren't bad people and that they just make dumb decisions sometimes. She then informs me that she recognizes my in-laws because they've come in here before. She didn't say anything, but by the look she gave me, it made it seem like this isn't the first time they've done something like this. My girlfriend comes up to me in the server and asks what I'm doing. I explained to her I am paying for her sister's large bowl because she tried to pass it off as a regular. She doesn't say anything other than, oh, okay. I didn't say anything else about it. I was running late for work and I had to take off without my girlfriend. Later that night, I asked my girlfriend if we were going to talk about what happened. I said, I assume her sister knows what I did. She said she did and told my girlfriend that I didn't have to do that and that I misunderstood what was actually going on. She said my sister-in-law claimed that they had ordered a large bowl, but they switched it to a regular after it had been ordered, or something like that, which I didn't believe because while we were waiting for our food, someone asked me about the different colored bowl from all the others, and someone said it was the large bowl. Also, from context that I can't really get into details, I totally believe that my sister-in-law would lie about something like this. I tell her what the server told me and how they've been to that restaurant before, and it seems like they've done something like this before. At which point she asks if I really believed the server over her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like these people are rude and
Yeah.
annoying. If you see like someone struggling, why would you want to make it worse? Like,
Yeah.
what kind of cruel person are you?
And we already know that they said, oh, let's like dine and dash.
Yeah.
So we already know what type of people these
Yeah.
these in-laws are.
I say it as a joke sometimes, but I actually would never do that. I would feel so bad.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my gosh. Like,
I'm so sorry.
yeah.
Which I told her the truth. The answer is yeah. I don't believe the server had any reason to lie about that. Well, I think my sister-in-law had many reasons to lie about not wanting to pay the bill. My girlfriend tells me she didn't think I should have done that because we're low on money as it is, and we have our own kids to take care of, which made me doubt my decision. It honestly wasn't that much money, and I paid for it with my card. In the end, I told her that this was the right decision, and I stood by it. But I told her I don't think that I want to go to a restaurant with her sister again if she's going to do this. I feel obligated to pay for the bill, and I really don't want to be put in that situation again. Also, I was slightly annoyed that nobody else at the table, including my girlfriend, spoke up about the discrepancy. By the way, I've got some discrepancies to hash out with you, and that's that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't like these people.
You know, they suck.
I would definitely be like, yeah, I don't, no offense. I'll hang out with them like outside of a restaurant setting or whatever. But like, if we go to a restaurant, I really don't want to like, be with them because they just are so ignorant.
Yeah.
And so aggressive for what reason towards
No reason.
like this poor girl who literally they saw crying outside. Like, oh, my server's crying. They don't get any tears or anything. I would be like, girl, what do you need? Do you want me to like, I can go pass out food. I know I'm not supposed to, but like,
You want me to be a server right now?
I'll like help you out. You can take my
Yeah.
tips. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I would
I don't
feel
know, it's
so
pretty
bad.
cruel. It's
Or I
pretty
would just go
cruel.
to a different place if you know that it's going to be difficult.
Exactly, especially
Didn't
because
have to go
she
there.
said before they ordered that they were, short-staffed.
Yeah.
And that it would probably take a while. So if you know that in advance and you're the type of person to complain about it, then maybe don't stay there.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left. After our argument, I feel like I did something wrong, but I don't know what it is. Should I have just not paid it and talked to my sister-in-law about it? I guess there's a chance that my sister-in-law is telling the truth, but it definitely didn't seem like it at the time. I was honestly not trying to make a big thing out of it. I was trying to pay it without anyone else knowing because I didn't want to have to defend my position to my sister-in-law. And comment 1 says, have you noticed your girlfriend being dishonest and treating service workers poorly before? Her family sounds like trash. OP says, my girlfriend has worked as a server before, which is why I mentioned in a different comment that I think she was the only other person to tip our server. Also, this is what I meant when I said there was context that I couldn't go into detail about. Her family has always been kind of selfish and stubborn to the point where it bothered my girlfriend when they were growing up. Which is why I was a little surprised by her position on this. And that is the end of the story, folks. If you're surprised by her position, it seems like she doesn't do this normally.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys can continue to have this conversation and she'll, see why you're upset.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why. It like makes me think about where the sisters, I guess true colors or true beliefs
Yeah.
are. Because if she's like, and she was a server. She was a server, so why she's like trying to, I guess like, to defend her sister or whatever, like whatever. But I don't know. They're being rude.
They're being rude.
Like if my sister was being rude in front of my partner, I'd be like, stop. You're being rude. Like, what is wrong with you?
You're being rude.
Yeah.
I confess that I got married for money and ruined my cousin's idea of love.
What does that mean?
When I was in my second year of university, I found out I was pregnant with my current husband's baby. We weren't officially dating at the time because my husband was a pretty arrogant playboy back then who only did casual. By the way, this comes from Money Marriage UK. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. OP says, after the initial shock and discussions on if I would keep the baby, my husband and his family were very insistent we got married since they're strong believers in a 2-parent household and also,
That never works.
yeah.
That's called a shotgun wedding.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yes. Yeah, and we've read a lot of stories where that happens, and it doesn't usually work.
Doesn't.
And also because my father-in-law is a semi-public businessman, and he thought this would reflect badly on him. Well, yeah, that's also such a great reason to get married.
Yeah, she's pregnant. Let's get married.
Yeah, and she's like, no, the town. What will the town think of me and my business?
This was in college?
I think so.
Okay.
I said no initially for obvious reasons, but I eventually agreed to it when my father-in-law offered to pay off all of my student debt and make sure I could finish my degree after I had the baby.
That is called a dowry.
Yes, that seemingly worked out a little bit better for you.
Do you have student debt?
No, I actually paid it off.
You paid it off?
I paid it off at the end of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kudos to that.
Thank you. I
You
was
have
very
you have
happy.
student debt? Your parents paid? Yeah.
Yeah, I
You're
had
lucky.
I was very lucky.
my parents helped pay, and then I had a bunch of loans, but I went to an in-state school, so
Ah, okay.
it was a little bit cheaper.
I got a scholarship.
Nice.
Yeah, Bill Cosby paid
That's-
for me to go to college.
Thank you, Bill Cosby.
Shout out Temple, unfortunately.
I hope it wasn't hush money to keep my mom quiet, but he did.
Yeah.
He did pay for me to go to school.
It's the
Yeah.
only good thing.
I know.
We have a brick in outside of our like big center that we like graduate in and stuff. We have a brick.
He's a big tempo guy. He also was my keynote speaker when I graduated college.
No.
It's a whole thing, and it's like you walk in to graduate, and it's like, oh, here's his brick.
Oh man.
I got a check from him every semester.
Well, you know what? Honestly, of the things that he could be doing,
Well, it's that whole. I'm not gonna say the Dave Chappelle bit, but go watch it. It's
yeah,
but yeah, he was an awful man, but
yeah. At
he
least
paid
he's
for me.
paying.
I don't have student debts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I didn't get nobody pregnant, so we good.
there you go.
He offered me a lot of other financial incentives, and we have a prenup, which will make sure I'll be okay if our marriage doesn't work out. Hopefully, I had a little hope.
I mean, it sounds like a good deal. I mean,
My husband actually changed a lot after we got married, and after our daughter was born, we've been very happily married ever since. Honestly, of the ways that a shotgun wedding could go, I think the stories that we read, they have fallen apart because of money issues and because family has kind of dipped out. And so this seems
most marriages end because of financial hardware.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's infidelity, but it's really financial.
yeah.
For him to say, hey, I'm going to give you the money, I'll pay all your debt, and I'm going to give you a prenup to make sure you have money afterwards. Usually when people do a prenup, it's like, I'm going to give it a prenup because I don't want you to take my money. So I would have a kid for this. Yeah.
Pretty ideal for
Yeah.
OP. Not many people know the real reason I got married so quickly in my family. Everyone thinks we were just really in love and move fast. My younger cousin is 18 and she wants to drop out of university to marry her boyfriend of 2 years.
Ah,
Her parents are against this, but she keeps using me as an example of why it's a good idea. I heard this from my mom initially, and I wasn't going to get involved since we aren't that close, but it came up during a family Zoom party. I said, actually, I got married for money, when she was talking about how my husband and I's love made things work out for us, and it would be the same for them. By the way, I hope that everything works out in your life and you listen to full episodes of stories just like this, because you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there's a little bit left to this story. Any other thoughts about OP's?
this is like, it's not ideal, but it's ideal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not an ideal situation, but it's an ideal situation for the situation that she was placed upon.
Yeah.
And I mean, she pretty much hit like the golden ticket for this situation. I mean, and it seems like they're still married.
Mhm.
Yeah, for her cousin to be like, well, it worked for them, that never is a good excuse.
Mm-mm.
Because every situation is different. And to get married at 18 might be the dumbest thing you could do.
And also dropping out of college.
Yeah. Don't 18-year-olds should not get married unless it's the 1800s.
Or you have to make your last name
Yeah.
not condom.
Yeah, you gotta make your last name condom. And like,
Yeah.
I always tell people, it's always all these rules for marriage were written centuries ago. And like, oh, I'm gonna be with this person forever. It's easy to be with someone forever when you dysentery at 17.
Yes.
I tell everybody, don't get married till you're in your 30s.
Yeah, forever used to be a lot shorter.
Yeah.
That's kind of my 30s is kind of my.
You're not
belief.
30. You guys
No,
are
I'm
30.
I'm 24.
Okay.
But like
Dude, don't
30s
get
is.
married.
I'm thinking. I'm like that's when I want.
Do you want kids?
Sorry,
Do you want kids?
I do. I want 2.
2. Okay. Yeah.
No more, no less. I need them to have a friend, but it's 3.
Whoa, what's
that's
wrong
it.
with the only children?
They are weird.
Are you only child?
I am an only child.
They are
yes.
weird. My daughter is the only child, but the thing about it is you'll be the most resourceful person ever
Yeah.
because you don't need anybody else.
I also grew up with a lot of cousins and stuff, so I feel like I got the socialization of a sibling, but then like the dealing with it on my own of an only child.
Yeah, I have a really good relationship with my brother, and so
It is
I'm
just you
trying to-
two?
Yeah, it's just us two. He's 4 years older.
Did he beat you up a lot?
No, I
Come on, brother. You're supposed to be beating. You beat you. I'm an older sibling. I beat all my siblings. up.
didn't beat him up per se, but I did get him in trouble a lot.
Yes, they always do that. They always
Yeah.
blame you for stuff.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
number of times I got in trouble for things that my brother and my sister did,
Mhm.
my mom and my dad made it up for it because I'm still the favorite.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
But OP continues. I received mixed reactions from my family. My cousin is devastated and said I ruined her idea of love and being in a relationship was pointless now. If that's all it took,
Then you shouldn't have married that person. If it was like, hey,
yeah.
I got married for money, like, oh, you ruined my idea of what I thought marriage was. Yeah.
One of my uncles took it incredibly personally and said I was a gold digger and he felt awful for my husband and how he doesn't know where my mom went wrong with
No,
me.
you weren't a gold digger. You was a goal digger.
Yeah.
You had a goal. They set you up for success.
Yeah.
You made it happen. This is, like I said, this is the best case scenario of a worst case scenario.
For everyone involved. Everyone improved.
You got pregnant from a hookup,
yeah.
and then you find a husband, and
Your
that's
entire
rich?
college is paid
yes,
for.
you know how many people get pregnant by broke
Yeah.
motherfuckers? You know what I mean?
For context, my mom was a single mother, and seeing her struggle was part of the reason I agreed to get married. A few of my other relatives said that's something you should keep to yourself because it's disrespectful to my husband and our marriage. My cousin's mom is really happy with me, though. What do you guys think? Am I the a-hole?
No, there's in no scenario you're the a-hole.
At all. You literally, one, just told the truth, and also, we're trying to stop your cousin from making a
The
bad
only
decision.
a-hole you are the awesome hole. That is, I don't even know what that means, but I believe you are the awesome hole.
Mhm.
You hit the jackpot.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the end of that story, so kudos to you, OP. It seems like you're doing well.
Yeah, you're doing good. You got a husband. You got that's rich.
Yeah.
You kept the baby.
You have generational wealth. But we got another story.
My neighbors demanded I remove my fence so their kids can play in my lawn.
Put up a swing set.
My neighbors have asked me to paint my house back to pink. We live on a cul-de-sac, and for whatever reason, the houses are matched. They have a pattern: brown, tan, pink. I bought one of the pink homes. I hated the color. By the way, this comes from user Marshmallow Duck. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we are not good advice experts. We are just people who know the things that we know. So let us know what you know in the comments. OP says, we don't have an HOA, and all the rest of the area has houses in pretty diverse patterns. Someone has a bright red house 2 blocks over. Another person has a mural on their garage door. So I had my brothers come and help me paint it blue. I hate pink, especially salmon. It's ugly as F. I didn't ask permission. I didn't think I had to. The house is not obnoxious. It is a standard light blue with white framing. I will list some of the other concerns my neighbors had. Because there are a lot of kids on the street, most people park their cars in the street and let the kids run across the lawns. No one has a fence in their front yard except for the person at the very end of the street, but they have a pool, so they have to have a fence. The rest of the people pretty much don't pay attention to property lines. I was not comfortable with this, so I had my dad put in a cute white picket fence about 4 feet high. This allows my small dog to be in the front yard. I also don't have to worry about kids in my yard being loud early in the morning. With the fence in my yard, it breaks up a long stretch of yard, and the neighbors hate it. They said it looks tacky, despite being pretty much the same as all the other houses in the area. Only this street refuses to have fences around their front yard. Another concern is I have not bought any of the chocolate, wrapping paper, or magazines the kids are selling. Not everyone has kids. It's about 5 families, but the rest have either adult children, grandkids, or work with kids. I don't hate kids. I want some one day, but I'm pretty much happy with my life as it is. But I don't want to be spending money on crap I don't need. I tried to explain this to them, but they keep telling me I'm being the Scrooge of the neighborhood. So I'm really frustrated by this, and it really comes down to the following. They want me to remove the fence, which is not happening. They want me to take part in the culture of the street. Okay, fine. But the culture of the street is you taking that fence down, man.
I mean, he's got a little dog. I understand why the
Donkey
fence is there
Kong.
to help with that kind of thing, but I just maybe, I don't know, could you like go out and chat with the neighbors? Could we just like, I don't know, throw a little neighborhood party or something? Throw a cul-de-sac party, a little block party.
Cul-de-sac party.
It's the best for a cul-de-sac. You don't
Cul-de-sac
have to
party.
block off your road.
That's right. But this means I need to host a barbecue at my home for everyone to attend on my dime. They said everyone has done it when they moved in. They were morally offended when I said no. They want me to, I guess, buy crap from the kids or offer to babysit. I told them this was not happening. I'm just not sure what to say without sounding annoying. I have to live with these people, but I don't really want to be bothered. What happened to waving in small chat and then ignoring one another? Aw, you lived in the city, didn't you? You lived in a big city. And then you moved to a place where people actually speak to each other.
Oh my
and
God.
You're just not sure how to deal with it.
Wait, we have the beginnings of a Hallmark movie.
This is.
You're gonna find love this winter, don't you worry. And that fence is coming down because of it.
Yeah, what's the title? It'd be like, Small Town,
Take down your
Big
fences.
Love. From the big
Fences.
city to the small town to the big love.
Fences and defenses.
In defense of fences.
In defenses of
In-
love.
In defensive love.
Yes. Coming this fall
Indefensible.
to the Hallmark
Coming
movie
this
channel.
fall to the most. You know what it is. Anyway, we've got more info from OP and some comments. I really am a friendly person, I swear. But sometimes the neighbors think we live in one giant cult community. No, you're not that friendly. I have seen them walk into other people's homes before to say hi. I had someone before the fence was up come around the back to just say hello because they saw my car in the driveway. I have also been asked to move my car before the fence so the kids could play. What is the point of a driveway if I have to park on the street? This is literally the only neighborhood I've ever lived in that does this. I have moved a lot as a kid, and no one ever begged and pestered. I know my mom exchanged nights with some of the neighbors when we were kids, and we had friends over for playdates. But that was parents bartering for free time, and it worked well. Other than a tree that was destroying our fence at one house, my parents never went to the neighbors to complain or demand anything. Even when I wasn't invited to a birthday party, all my mom did was make sure the other kid didn't get invited over again. OP explains more about kids selling door to door. The problem with the stuff the kids are selling is it's way overpriced. It's cheap, crappy wrapping paper for $15 a roll. My mom bought some once, and it wrapped 5 gifts before she ran out. The Dollar Tree gives you more for your buck than that. My neighbor bought some of the chocolate and said it was chalky, which happens with old chocolate. I just don't want to spend exorbitant amounts of money fundraising middle-class kids to go do middle-class things. All right, that sounded weird. I don't know. I did this program all the time in elementary school. There's always some like weird scumbag. It was basically just free child labor. These companies were selling chocolates, but it was like an incentive program with the kids.
It's through the schools, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, if you sell this much, we'll give you a $15 monkey stuffed animal.
Yeah, I don't think I went door to door for that though.
I
If
did.
I had to do it.
I
Like
did
Girl
door.
Scout cookies was just like calling up my family that I knew probably wanted them.
Yeah.
And maybe we did like a group Girl Scout outing to sell them one day, but besides that, not really.
Yeah. It was,
Certainly not what it's like now. We never posted up outside of places.
I'm pretty sure this has to be pretty
You're
old because,
genius.
to my knowledge, all of that stuff has been made illegal.
To do what?
To
To door to door.
to turn kids into child laborers who sell products for your company door to
Except for
door
Girl Scout
and
cookies.
don't get compensated in any way.
Well, the stuffed animals, I think how they get around that. The little toys that you win is how you get around that.
No, I think that anyway. Maybe in Missouri they did that, but
Maybe. Girl Scout. I mean, I know
I
Girl
think
Scout
Girl
cookies
Scouts
still
is different
happens.
because
Well,
it's just
yeah.
like a club.
That's because you sign up for
Yeah.
Girl Scouts. It's not just like through the class.
Yeah. Anyway, I give my money to the people who need it. Inner city kids, Big Brother, the one I volunteer for, the organization, and towards a church I know helps the homeless with a kitchen. I am not trying to brag. I'm just explaining where my money goes. I get what you're saying, not to be that guy, but I don't feel like throwing a barbecue for 30 people plus kids. And there's an update. Well, then, yeah, you're the curmudgeon of the neighborhood. It's okay. You can lean into it and accept it, or, you
Yeah.
can try to host a barbecue and be like, hi, I'm so-and-so.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if this is the way you want to go, there's nothing wrong with that. You are allowed to do just that. You can go be the Scrooge of the neighborhood, but you
Yes.
can't be mad when they're like, oh, no one sell chocolate to that guy or that girl over there.
Yeah. You can't be mad when they're like, we're not inviting you to the barbecue.
And you also can't be mad when you fall in love this fall in your newest Hallmark movie. I forget what it's called already.
The Sack.
Not that. Veto.
Cult of the Sack.
Veto.
Well, we have an update on this sack cult.
The circle of love. Because the cul-de-sac's the circle.
The circle of love needs no fences.
Oh! Tagline.
Yeah. As I said, I have people who keep pestering me about taking down my fence and repainting my house. I was actually good for a few days. I navigated this crap with as much dignity as I could, but I was wearing down emotionally. I know a lot of people felt I should do something neighborly. I've been to 2 of the neighbors' parties and brought food. I always say hello, but I still feel that it's a waste of money to pay for middle-class kids to buy uniforms when an inner-city kid won't have new shoes. It might sound stubborn, and maybe it is, but I refuse to donate to pointless causes. I would rather buy a hog for a village in another country than cookies for a bake sale in America. I ended up losing my temper when Miriam, the woman who has been pestering me the most, asked if her son could pet my dog. He was leaning over my fence and sticking his hand into my yard. I told her that he needs to leave my property, dog included, alone. She kind of huffed and asked why I moved into this neighborhood if I was just going to ruin what they had going on. Yeah, honestly, I agree. Bro, you gotta understand you're the bad guy. The kid's like, can I pet your dog? And you're like, get out of my yard. Leave your hands. Leave my yard and my dog alone. Yeah, dog, you suck immediately when you do that.
I don't know why you calling them dog over the dog.
Dog.
What the dog do?
Dog. Let that kid pet that dog, dog. Come on, dog.
Come on, dog.
She said she missed the old owners and thought I looked like a sore thumb. She said if I had kids, it would be one thing, but I didn't, and people thought it was weird. I finally told her I bought the house because I liked the area. It was mere miles from my work and family. I liked being able to spend time with friends without having to drive 30 minutes because I live outside of town. And by the way, you can live listening to full episodes of stories like this on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. All you got to do is search OK Storytime. We are coming up on the end of this story. I mean, honestly, go get your top hat, go get your scarf. Well, no, I guess he gets the scarf at the end when he becomes like a good guy, Scrooge.
Top hat and cane.
Yeah, you got to get the top hat, the cane, you got the petticoat, and get a big bag of gold coins, and you can smack people with it when they get too close to you and they ask you stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you really just have to pick what you want. If you're cool with being Scrooge, then lean into it. But if you want to try to make friends, I mean, I think there's totally room to lighten up on some of the stuff without like having to take down your fence, without having you shouldn't even have to move your car if the fence is there.
You don't have to take down your fence. You don't have to move your car.
No,
I don't know
but
if anyone,
like, I don't know how tall the fence is, but like sit in your front yard and talk with people through the fence, or like invite people to come hang out, or go sit outside your fence and talk to people every once in a while. Like if you want to be part of the neighborhood, I think you do need to leave your little fenced-in realm. But if you don't, you don't.
It does immediately give a different energy. But I think you can also, all these people have kids and stuff. If you really want to, can lay it down. Just be like, look, I bought this house. It's my property. If I want to put a fence in my yard for my dog, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is a great time for you to teach your kids that life is full of change. And sometimes the changes that happen aren't the changes you want, but the changes you got to deal with. So now when they run around the street on the cul-de-sac, they just got to like duck in a little bit and go around my fence. Is that the end of the world? Absolutely not.
It's like barely a little jut in, I'm sure. Like I'm picturing if my house in the cul-de-sac had the fence, non-issue. Run in the street for a sec. You have sidewalks.
Yeah, come on.
We also just don't run through people's yards there, but
maybe put a gate with a little doorbell camera, and they can go, my ball's in your yard. Can I come get it? And then you can go, yes.
Yeah. Maybe give them permission to go get their ball if it goes in the yard.
Yeah. But, anyway, I wonder what kind of dog you have. If you got a dog that can maul people, also not a great thing.
Then put a lock on it.
Yeah. Anyway, She told me that the rest of the neighborhood thought I was rude. You are a little bit. I asked her why I was rude when she was asking me to change everything I liked about the house and that I spent money on. I told her it wasn't going to change. I wasn't going to buy anything from the kids, host a barbecue, or invite them to see my house. I said I would be happier if she shut up and left me alone, and her kid could stay off my property, or I would be talking to authorities. I didn't hear anything for the last 5 days, so I think she might have spread the news around to people, which is nice. Silence. And that's the end of that story.
My brother thought he could get away sabotaging his wife, but he was very wrong.
Yeah, she's a master tactician.
My brother, fake name Wiener, and his wife Anna have been having some serious marital problems, which is 99% Rick's fault. Anna is a stay-at-home mom, goes to college online, and has a side business with an MLM, but whatever. She has made some new friends and seems to be happier. By the way, this comes from throwaway243121, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, before they had kids, Richard and Anna had a solid marriage. Anna told me after the kids came, their marriage slowly went downhill and now it's on life support. Anna does everything for the kids, and Rick wants a medal for watching the kids for 30 minutes while Anna cooks dinner. He's more than capable of taking care of them, but chooses to let Anna do everything if he can get away with it. The MLM Anna is involved with is having a big convention this week. We're locals, but Anna decided to do a staycation and is staying at a hotel near the convention with her friends. This has been planned for months. Anna told Rick to take time off work and made it very clear she needed the break, and this would be a really good opportunity to network. Over Christmas, she asked him if he got approved for the time off, and he said, yeah. I told her he's gonna mess this up for you, and she told me he better not. She called me in tears, and Rick texted her that an emergency came up at work and he would not be able to take off. He had to put in long day on Tuesday and would be flying out on Wednesday. He was so sorry and would make it up to her. I thought she was going to have a breakdown and she could barely talk. I told her to calm down and finish packing and pick her kids up from school. I said I would watch them until Rick got home. She didn't want me in the middle, and I told her F Rick, and we've never been close, and I don't give a dang how he reacts. I watched the kids until Rick strolled in at 10 p.m. and told him he was a selfish piece of crap on my way out the door. He blasted my phone, and I put him on D&D. I talked with Anna yesterday, and he blasted her phone as well. She ended up telling him they could either get marriage counseling or see divorce lawyers. His choice. Nice. But he better stop calling her unless it was an emergency with the kids or she was calling to talk to them. He cooled his jets after being told that. He stopped by my house and I spoke to him through the Ring camera, and he asked me what he was supposed to do with the kids. Parent them.
I think you should send them on some kind of mission.
Ooh, spy kids.
Put them in tactical gear and be like, you have to go save Lassie. Lassie fell down a well this time.
Lassie?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's always Lassie.
Does that mean he has to bark?
Yeah.
The kid? Who?
The kids gotta bark.
The kids have to
Save
bark
Lassie.
or OP has to bark?
Why not all three?
Everyone does. I don't know. Figure it out. They're your kids, dude. I asked him if he even bothered to request the time off from work, and he wouldn't answer me and said he had an important business trip. He said Anna won't give the contact info for their babysitters and asked me if I could watch the kids. I told him to get the F off my property with his BS. If he were any kind of parent, he would already have the contact info for the babysitter. Anna prepped meals for the kids, organized all their clothes for the week, and left a detailed itinerary of their schedule. What else does he need? Our parents and his in-laws won't return his calls. He's flying solo this week and had to cancel his alleged business trip. Anna says she'll get to the bottom of that when she gets back home. I hope she has the best time with her friends. I hope Rick does not get a moment of peace. No one is buying his lies or coming to his rescue, and I laugh when I think about it. Good luck, bro. And we've got some relevant comments, but what do you think?
This guy is clearly up to some shenanigans.
Shenaniganery going on in this household.
And we do not have to entertain them. We can say no shenanigans will be had here, good sir.
Yeah. I agree. But we got some relevant comments. Original Cranberry says, how old are the kids? In their fight, the kids will be impacted. That Rick will not feed them. He needs to learn this, but not with children getting messed up in between. And OP says, the kids are 4 and 6. They will be fed, and he's very capable of taking care of them, and he will take good care of them. Anna is in close contact with them. The issue is he tried to sabotage her staycation because he's selfish. Collective Clothing says, I think he wasn't just trying to sabotage. It sounds like he had some side action planned as well. OP says, I believe he's very capable of that. That is a whole other can of worms Anna has chosen not to currently pursue. If he was planning some side action, it won't be happening this week. Intersection Novel says, I'd advise Anna to consult a divorce lawyer regardless. And OP says, I see this stunt being the final straw. Bandashi says, at least Anna knows she's got support, and OP is an absolute boss for being an awesome bestie. I'd be getting their favorite snacks and candies every week for several months as a thank you for covering my butt. Holy crap, Rick is an incompetent Rick. I'm sorry, did he forget he's the dad to these kids and not just the baby juice donor? OP says he thinks because he's the breadwinner, that means his work is done. Our dad is nothing like that. I told Anna to keep me posted, and I'll keep you guys posted. Lady McGuffin says she'll get better behavior from him as an ex-husband. Yeah. I mean, then she doesn't have to worry about helping him, or, like he will have allotted times where he's supposed to watch the kids, and you don't have to worry about trying to figure out, who's babysitting or whatever. He just has to do it legally.
Or who your husband might be cheating on you
Yes.
with.
What is
Because
this?
that's
What are we
the
doing here?
weirdest, most suspicious move of all time.
So-
Pan's Labyrinth.
Are we doing Pan's Labyrinth? Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth. Hit the Pan's Labyrinth because this is
Ah, my eyeball.
confusing.
Ow.
What'd you do?
Oh, it just got dry.
He
Oh.
Pan's Labyrinth his eye.
She'll get better behavior from him as an ex-husband, with the courts mandating his parental effort under pain of contempt. There's no way he requested that time off, and I would love to see what a judge would do with that sort of BS during proceedings. OP says, I don't believe for a second he requested time off. As crazy as it sounds, he would probably be a more involved father if they got a divorce. And we've got an update, but do you think that? Do you think that they would be better off divorced?
I mean, unless he was somehow going about this trying to plan some sort of extravagant secret surprise for her.
Yeah, this whole time, that's why he was an absentee parent. He just wanted to plan you a surprise birthday party.
Yeah, you don't realize I spent all this time I spent surprising you.
Surprise.
And now you're divorcing me?
Surprise.
Shows what a man is worth today.
But we got an update. I got a lot of messages for updates, so I'm going to leave it in the comments. I'm going to start with the good news first. Anna is going to divorce Rick. Thanks to a family member, she was able to get an appointment with a lawyer this week. She comes very highly recommended.
Good. Meet with all of the lawyers so he can't get one in your town.
Yes. Sabotage him. When Anna came home on Sunday night, Rick was waiting with a suitcase and said it was his turn to take a vacation, and he left. No arguing, he just left. In his warped mind, his silence is meant to punish Anna, but he's just making her life easier. While he's gone, she's going to make copies of all the financial documents she can find. She hopes he really teaches her a lesson and stays gone. The house was a wreck. She moved all of Rick's crap from the master bedroom into his office. All his crap is laying on the floor, and he can't even walk in there. There's not even room for a twin air mattress. By the way, there is room for you guys to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We have a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Sometimes divorce is the best medicine.
Yeah, I think that this guy doesn't really care about this family, and Anna should go her own way.
You can
Go your own way.
go your own way.
Gotta go your own way. That's for you, Anna. Do that.
Go your own way.
But we got a little bit left. The kids enjoyed their time with Rick. They were asking for him today and want to spend time with him. Anna called him, and he did answer and spoke with the kids. and told them he was on a business trip. She's going to file for joint custody. If he doesn't want 50% custody, then he will have to turn it down on the record. She also found out last Tuesday, when he was supposed to be watching the kids, he was tagged in a picture at a bar playing pool. So much for working. Unless you're a freaking pool worker, your job is pool man at the bar, then I don't think that you were doing your job.
He's hustling.
He's a pool shark.
Pool man, come together with your pool. Save pool. I thought Pool Man would be a good remix of Spoon Man. I was wrong.
Oh, I didn't understand that at
I
all.
was wrong. What was that guy's name? Chris Soundgarden. R.I.P.
Chris Pool.
R.I.P. Chris Soundgarden. R.I.P. Chester Bennington. R.I.P. Wee Man.
He did not even untag himself, which shows he really does not give an F. He doesn't love Anna or like her, but he must hate her to act like that. I don't get it. He absolutely disgusts me. That is all I have to update. And that is the end of the story. Ooh. OP, it seems like you're a good friend. Unfortunately, I think Anna just has to kind of figure this out herself, and you can just be there to support her.
Yeah, sometimes, and by sometimes, it's pretty much every time. People have to
Go the
people have to figure out their own stuff, dude.
My friend and I share a rental, but I'm not on the lease.
Then you aren't on the rental.
I moved in, 2-bed, 2-bath, with a new friend a few years ago on a temporary basis while searching for a 1-bed flat. Our initial agreement was that it was temporary and I could leave and give a single day's notice and she could ask me to leave immediately. We also agreed to split the $3,000 a month rent in the middle during my stay. By the way, this comes from Fatfaditubipsiv. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, this was reasonable given we were newly friends and didn't know each other all that well. And we were both a bit skeptical, and because I had family in the city I could stay with, and she didn't need my share of the rent because her dad paid for it. We enjoyed living together so much, we decided to make it permanent. I asked to be added on the tenancy so I would have rights and protection. This was agreed verbally, but she never made any moves to action this. Initially, I thought nothing of it, but after about 2 months, I started pestering her weekly for an update regarding the tenancy change. And she would make various excuses, like, sorry, I forgot, I'll send an email tomorrow. Oh yeah, I sent the email, but no reply, I'll chase. And oh, it's so weird, they must be so busy, no replies after weeks. In all of this, she never showed me the emails or CC'd me, and this went on for months. And why didn't we just email them ourselves then?
Yeah. Why didn't we do anything?
Eventually, I sat her down and I had a serious conversation about the abnormal handling of the situation. I also highlighted that new amenities in the building were being opened, but access was by fingerprint, and unless I was on the tenancy, I couldn't get access. The rent had also increased a couple of months earlier as a result of new amenities, which I was paying, but no access in sight for me. During this conversation, I was really blunt. I shared my irritation, and she finally admitted that she was claiming housing benefits for her child, who was born in the UK but lived abroad with her family, and she was getting around $800 a month in housing benefits, not to mention other benefits as well. She said she couldn't add me to the tenancy without losing her benefits. I was really shocked and disappointed. I felt deceived and robbed of the opportunity to live in a reasonable way. Months earlier, I lined up a perfect 1-bed flat, and she convinced me to stay with her, knowing I would never be a legal tenant, afforded the same rights or protections, etc. At this point, we had lived together for around 7 months, and everything was perfect, bearing the odd behavior surrounding the tenancy. I wanted to leave, but the property was perfect and dog-friendly, which at the time wasn't so easy to come by. And the rent was cheap compared to comparable properties in similar area. It was also a very safe area, and I had a lot of peace living there. In the end, I decided to stay, but it wasn't really a decision I made. I just kind of never left. So that's a decision you made. But my rent was never adjusted to reflect her fraud. Which is fine, I never expected that, but typically people in these situations do that. And my rent also wasn't adjusted to reflect my lack of access to amenities. We agreed to maintain our original agreement with regards to my stay there, given I wasn't on the tenancy. I was frequently inconvenienced as I had to do everything through her. Fast forward 18 months later, and I had a fairly disastrous situation happen to me, which I won't go into, which resulted in me needing to move in with my family for support. I informed her, and she was fine with it, but disappointed. She also lightly tried to convince me to stay, but my mind was made. After a few days, we spoke on the phone, where she claimed that it was unfair that I was leaving early, and I should at least pay rent until the renewal date, 3 months in the future. I kindly reminded her that the renewal date wasn't really my concern. I'm not a tenant, and I also reminded her I can end the agreement at any time. I also questioned why she was so bent up about it, given she has no financial liability. Her dad pays her rent, and at the beginning, he still paid her rent, so she was actually pocketing the money I was paying. She got very upset and went on a smear campaign against me with mutual friends and coworkers. We used to work at the same company, but I had left by the time this issue arose. I ended up going to the property to pack my things and paid for the days I was there. She was abroad at the time, so no awkwardness. I forgot to mention, in social settings, when people would comment on how impulsively we moved in together, my ex-housemate would often make comments like, well, if I wanted her out, she'd be out, so it wasn't a risk, really.
Oh.
Or
Well, now I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out now.
What do you have to say now, Or some variation of that, which would hurt my feelings and make me feel little, but shamefully I never confronted her on this. Anyway, all of this happened a few months ago, but it comes in my mind often, and I do wonder if I was the a-hole in this situation, or if I have overlooked something. By the way, you guys should never overlook that there's always more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't sound like you were the a-hole. It sounds like you were funding her fun money.
Right. That's insane that she pocketed the money and it wasn't like half went back to her dad or something.
Yeah, when it's like just like no consideration for it's like, yeah, I'm renting this place and I'm getting rent assistance and my dad's helping me.
Right.
And it's like,
You
so
still
you can
get it
pay
upped
this.
for the new amenities. Like you don't even get a break for the amenities you can't use.
No, it's just like, yeah, you're gonna pay.
And then she's like, and so actually I'm gonna leave. And she's like, you have to pay the 3 months that you're not living here. It's like, girl.
That's actually not what we agreed
Girl.
to, though.
That's actually
You
not
know?
what we agreed to, and it puts you out $0.
Maybe you can use some of the slush fund you've been taking from me for the rent that you didn't need me to pay.
I mean, I like understand getting some sort of like rent payment because you are living there, but like it should go to the dad who is paying.
Right,
The
like
full
it
3.
should factor in like whatever subsidies you're
Right.
getting for your rent.
Or like
But by not putting you on the lease,
or even
she's
just
allowed
OP
to have
paying
this thing.
amenities or something, like some
just any just a strange arrangement. A strange arrangement.
estrangement.
Hmm.
That's a different word.
That's what you
entirely.
should do to this friend.
Oh, and actually, we have blocked each other. And I actually lost a mutual friend who I felt was on my ex-housemate's side, even though she claimed to be impartial. I guess although she was sometimes a bad friend, she was also a lot of times a really good friend. And I felt frustrated that the situation escalated to a point that ended our friendship. We have some comments. Comment 1. Situation where the trust quietly eroded over time, and by the end, the conflict was less about rent and more about realizing the arrangement had never been as mutual or secure as it felt. Not the a-hole. Comment 2. Such a foolish welfare cheater. She is claiming and receiving government support for her child who does not live with her. Drop a hint. That's the end of that story.
And that's the end of that.
Yeah. I don't really care what she's doing for her welfare stuff, but like, don't take OP's money on top of it.
Yeah, don't be doing that.
But that's the end of the story.
So that's the end of the episode.
My boyfriend said he knew better, and I started believing him.
That's the first thing you learn is don't ever believe a man.
John and I met at work. He was my office manager for several years. About 3 years ago, I went through a really rough breakup with my ex, and my mental state was very poor. John could see how upset I was at work, even though I did my best to leave it at home. By the way, this comes from Living Silver 8723. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comment. And OP says, I didn't really want to be the latest office gossip. So when he started offering his office for me to work in private, I was super grateful. Sometimes he would also be there, but he was often needed elsewhere. So I wasn't too concerned about the other type of gossip forming. Over time, John and I grew a close bond, and after a few months, we started going out for drinks and food. I guess you could say we began dating. The age thing was always in the back of my mind, but those first few months were really good, so I didn't think too much of it. He was kind, funny, caring, and just seemed like a really great guy. After several months of dating, John made the decision to transfer offices to avoid any conflict of interest or potential problems with the company. Not long after, we moved in together. That's when the problems started to reveal themselves. At first, it was small, stupid things, like he'd insist I stop watching my favorite TV show because they were childish and stupid.
No, that is not a small thing. That is a huge thing.
That's the major controlling thing.
The things you like are stupid and dumb and you shouldn't like them is
That's mean.
an enormous red flag.
I would laugh and say he didn't get it because he's old, and we'd make a joke of it. The thing is, though, he wasn't joking. This became a constant thing, and it began to weigh on me until I decided to just stop watching. Next up was my clothing choice. He accused me of dressing like I was in my 20s, like I was wanting to attract a young guy. So I started dressing older and more appropriately. He started making me feel bad about my friends, accusing them of being childish and boring. He's a manipulator. He's isolating you.
Yeah, this guy, trademark, hallmark, bad boyfriend.
He found the textbook called Bad Boyfriend Guidebook, and he's on chapter 4.
Yeah, and he could probably smell it on you that you had got out of a bad relationship and were in a place where he could maneuver and finagle you around.
Yeah.
Because that's what these kind of people do.
He would go out of his way to ask them questions about philosophy and politics and then berate them for not knowing the answers. My friends confessed they didn't like being around him because he made them feel belittled.
He's the most... my girlfriend would do this thing when guys would come up to her.
Okay.
And she would just, like, some guy starts talking to her and she'd just be like, spell bourgeoisie. And when they couldn't do it, she'd just be like, don't talk to me. But it's like,
Yeah.
that's just a fun thing to
That's
get
funny, like,
someone
in
to
the
stop
moment.
flirting with you. This guy's just like, yeah? This guy's got the same energy of like, oh, you're wearing the Nirvana t-shirt? Name 5 of their songs. And then when you can't do it, he's like, wow.
Uncultured. Yeah, pretty
Just
much.
the most annoying kind of guy.
Yeah. Which is exactly how he often makes me feel. I hardly see them anymore, but I don't blame them for wanting to distance themselves. I used to have a lot of independence in my life. Hobbies, friends, fun. Now it seems all I ever really do is what John wants to do. Most of which are things I find absolutely mind-numbingly dull. Whenever I push back and try to do what I want, he'll shut me down, making me feel tiny and stupid for suggesting it, often using his age as a way to say, I know better than you. And that's been my life for the past couple of years, up until recently. Enter Mark, again, not his real name, the new guy at work, who's incredibly fun to be around. He has amazing energy, charisma, and bundles of charm. He and I get on like a house on fire. We share a lot of the same hobbies. He's only a couple of years older than me, and he makes me laugh in ways I haven't laughed since I was a kid. The kind of goofy, uncontrollable laughter that makes your sides hurt. I find myself thinking about Mark a lot. I look forward to going to work to hang out with him. I get butterflies in my belly when I'm around him. And I feel a genuine warmth when I'm with him. To be clear, nothing romantic has happened between Mark and me, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want it to. John was there for me when I really needed someone. Maybe I'm the problem for not strongly advocating for myself. I've always been a people pleaser. Ugh, I can't even tell what's real anymore. If I'm being selfish or childish or getting swept up in the fantasy of it all, I could really use some advice here. We have some comments. What's your advice, though?
Break up.
Yeah.
Break up with your terrible boyfriend.
John sounds like a manipulator, and you definitely should break up with him. However, I would suggest being single for a while and relearning who you are as a person and not just dating another guy from work.
That is excellent advice.
Comment 1. You're repeating the same behavior. Break up with John. Get therapy. Learn to live without a man for 5 minutes. Comment 2, at work. One ship to another, at work, at work. Yeah, you need to leave the older, controlling, abusing a-hole, but you should also learn to not be a complete doormat. Source, recovering doormat. And maybe take a breath and get out more and see a therapist. Comment 3 says, stop pursuing your coworkers. End things with John, not because he's older, but because he treats you poorly. Don't jump into another relationship. There are billions of available men on the planet. Give yourself time to pick up the pieces before creating another unfulfilling situation. Comment 4 says, good grief. Okay, 1. You can break up with anyone at any point for any reason. You do not need his or anyone else's permission to leave. You can always leave a situation that makes you uncomfortable. You do not have to stay just because someone else wants you to. This relationship is toxic AF. There is a reason you should date people your own age, and you are starting to see it. He's highly controlling. You seriously need to be single for a while. Learn to be comfortable and strong on your own. Don't date people at work. Comment 5. First of all, stop fishing off the company pier. Your boyfriend very obviously took advantage of a junior colleague in a vulnerable emotional state, as usually happens with much older men who pursue younger women. He wants everything to suit him, and anything he doesn't like isn't a matter of personal taste. It's categorically inferior. He chose you because of the imbalance of power between you. He was there for you in the way a crab trap is there for a crab. This new person may have woken you to the fact that your current relationship is sucking the life and crushing the character out of you, but that does not mean you should jump right into another relationship. Dump your terrible boyfriend. Be by yourself. Maybe seek a counselor to help you learn to set boundaries and not to fear someone leaving to the point you allow them to bully you. And by the way, you should never fear of running out of more full episodes with stories just like this, because there's always more. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We have a little bit left. Oh,
Yeah.
no, we have an update same day, actually.
Ooh, update same day. I hope it's a same day breakup.
I hope you broke up with John.
I think it is so like telling. It's like he's like, yeah, use my office. Yeah, I'm the cool older guy at work.
I want to check.
And it also, yeah, you do need to be single, because I feel like the hallmark of people who are in relationships like this are people who like cannot be out of a relationship and be comfortable, because it sounds like you were in that relationship for 3 years and then got out of it and it was bad, and then you pretty much got right into this thing with John. So be single. And this new guy sounds cool, but still be single.
Okay, I confirmed. We did not have their ages, but I found it in the OG post. She is 32, John is 54, Mark is younger than her.
Yeah, just be single. Just be a little single.
Update same day. Thank you for all your advice. I realize now that my problems with codependency and the fear of being alone pushes me into these unhealthy situations. I will be ending my relationship with John, but Mark and I will remain nothing more than colleagues and friends for the foreseeable future. Yes! I need to learn how to be comfortable being on my own and rediscover myself before I consider entering any new relationship. Comment 1. Be careful of John's reaction to the breakup. Perhaps loop in a boss or HR person in case he is either sneaky and sabotaging or outright rude and aggressive. OP says, worst case scenario, I'll look for another job. I have a decent amount of savings to fall back on to support me finding other work, so I'm not too concerned. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but I'm prepared for it if it does. That's the end of that story.